He's a guy without a clue who doesn't know what to do. Republican or Democrat, he's not sure where he's at. It's not so much fun knowing how the country's run. Liberals, conservatives, House of Representatives. Are you right? Are you left? Which way do you lean? Who knows what the hell does that even mean?
Welcome to POV America with your host, Brian.
Hey guys, how's it going today? Hopefully good for you. Happy Monday. Oh man, hopefully you guys are staying absolutely happy and content today because it was a weird day today. I don't know if you if you caught the drive home that I was talking about, but today was one of those days where I got your emails. I read a lot of the emails and it was very, very cool, and I appreciate those. And some of you took some time to point some things out to me that are helpful yet very disturbing. Hold on one second here. I'm going to try and get this to where I can hear. Okay, a little bit better. Anyway, apparently, and I hadn't noticed until I actually went back and reviewed my actual the actual streams. Boy, oh boy, guys, I have really, truly been slacking off a little bit because you pointed out to me that whenever I would pause or during the conversations during the stream, I say I like filler words. I'll say yeah, and I use these little filler words. Now I explained to you during the drive home. I used to do that once upon a time, but I stopped doing it for the longest time because I've taken speech classes. I've been in public speaking before. I've taken Toastmasters, and I know not to do these things. However, for whatever reason, now that I've started live streaming, I've picked it back up, and I'm going to try. It's going to drive me absolutely crazy, so you're going to have to bear with me because while I do this, I know I'm going to just flip out. It's just going to bother me consistently because I'm going to catch myself doing it now that I'm aware of it again. And it was, just a great email, a very, very nice email. And see, did you just catch that? I'm really going to try and break that habit because I don't want to do it. I'd rather have a moment of silence or a pause other than a filler word. So I'm going to try and work on that as best I can, and hopefully things will be a little bit better. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm gonna keep doing it. It's going to drive me nuts. I'm going to try and do about a 30 minutes tonight if I can, maybe an hour if we get people in the chat.
If they break you of that habit, I will love them forever.
Yeah, my wife says if you can break me of that habit, she'll love me forever, or she'll love you guys forever. But I'm trying. I never used to do this until I started doing the streaming again. I picked it back up. I did it for a while till my brother called it to my attention, and then my son, and then pretty much everybody. So I've worked very hard not to do that. I'd rather sit silently and just have a moment of pause without using some kind of a filler word. So it drives me absolutely crazy. When I catch myself now, it even drives me more insane because I know for a fact this is something I never used to do. For years, I kind of broke that habit.
Just tell them you're going to give me $1 every time you do it.
Yeah, she says I'm going to give her $1 every time I do it. So anyway, guys, I'll be broke. I'll have no money, so we won't be able to do anything on Saturdays. But this is really something I'll work on. But I appreciate you guys sending me an email. It was something I was not even conscious of that I was doing. So that's actually helpful to me that you're picking up on stuff like that. Also, another comment you guys had was was that I tend to go rapid fire. And you said I can relax, take a breath. I don't have to be going 100 miles an hour when I speak, for the very reason that you pointed out to me before is when I'm searching for words or trying to rapid fire my conversation, I will use those filler words, and I appreciate it. If it wasn't for you guys pointing it out, now it is going to drive me crazy. I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to drive me absolutely insane. Every time I do it now, I'm going to be aware of it. I had to go back and watch the streams And then you also pointed out, I guess, on the Saturday, see, just did it again. Saturday when we were talking with the gentleman, the waiter at the restaurant, apparently he was telling a story and I was saying, yeah, 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 over and over. So I apologize. I'm trying desperately to make sure I don't do these things because now that I'm aware of them, they're going to eat me alive. But I did want to kind of share with you some of the things that went on today. We had a pretty interesting day today. You guys know I'm doing it again. It's driving me nuts. So, I will try one more time. Today, we had a good day. A lot of inmates that were normally kind of reserved and laid back and didn't really go through all of their exercises they were supposed to. They were having moments. I'll just call it moments. And we had an opportunity. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with Tony Robbins. Anthony Robbins, he's a motivational speaker. He has seminars, books, tapes, all that. He was instrumental in today's kind of life lesson for these guys because I played them some of his motivational tapes, motivational speaking off of YouTube where he was giving his seminars. And what I found out was they were very receptive to it. As a matter of fact, many of them were way more receptive than I thought they would be. It kind of made them look inside, and I thought that was really cool that they got into the tape record or the recordings the way they did and watched the video so attentively because they were so focused in on what he was saying. And it's all about being better than they are. And it was absolutely amazing. So I was kind of very happy that happened today. And can you hear the fireplace in the background? Does that sound too loud? I'm not sure if it's just in my ears that it's this crackling loud or if it's because the mic might be situated too close. I don't know. Now you guys do know that's a chroma key, right? I'm not really in the snow and there's no fire. It's just all a background. So hopefully you're not going to be annoyed by that. But that actually is kind of annoying to me, so I'm going to have to find a way to filter that out. If that in fact is as loud as it sounds to me. Let me see. Yeah. I'll have to have somebody tune in and just tell me if it's too loud. Once I get a few of you folks logged in, and if you're in the chat, I'll ask you how it sounds. But so that was kind of today, guys. It was a really good day. It was fun. It went very quick because we had a lot of engagement with the class. A lot of these inmates that are miserable, they're either into drugs or into a lot of things on the outside, and many of them been back and forth in and out of jail before, in and out of prison. And it was interesting to see how Tony Robbins, and I'm actually very surprised, to be honest with you, I'm very surprised that Tony Robbins hasn't really targeted or doesn't have anything in place for the inmates. I mean, there's just in the U.S., there's millions of people incarcerated, and all of those people have families and communities they eventually go back to. So I'm very surprised he hasn't come up with some kind of a program that could be run within the facilities, because honestly, it would be done very inexpensively for the facilities, but it would have such a tremendous positive effect on inmates and the communities and the families. So I'm really curious as to if he'll look at that in the future, if I maybe brought up a suggestion for it, and if he could cater something towards, he's basically changed a lot of celebrities and presidents and athletes' lives by being a source of being a mentor to them. So I kind of wonder what it would be like to have him come up with something or develop something for the correctional institutions that are out there. Anyway, so that's it. As I said, I'll try to do today just a quick half hour or so. I'm not going to do an hour or 2 hours unless it gets crazy. We have a lot of conversation. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of relax and not stress over it too much. Today was one of the days where I went through all the emails, and I kind of went and reviewed some of the videos, and I can see what the breaks, the things that you guys were sending me an email. Now, and I want to tell you this too. I'm not sure, but the cameras that I have, the cell camera and that, man, I'm gonna tell you, I was really kind of freaked out as I was watching the videos the other day. It's like if I don't shave close, if I don't have every single hair or blotch that I miss when I shave, this 4K video just is absolutely atrocious, because I was looking at my face and it looks like I have dark spaces or dark blotches, and looks like I have acne. Like there was one time I was looking like under my neck, it looked like I had acne or something, and I'm in the bathroom looking, going, what the hell? I don't see what. So I'm looking really close in the mirror, and I don't see what I think I see on the the video. So not a big fan of 4K, guys. It definitely does it makes you look. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, like I see it in my face here. This all looks blotchy, like it's darker or something, but it's not. If you go look in the mirror, it's not that way. So I might just go ahead and grow a beard altogether and just say heck with it. I don't know. So let me see, what else happened today? Anything new? I was talking to you a little bit about hold on one sec. No. I have the terrible cat that wants to get over here. But anyway, so today was one of those days that, on top of just being able to do the Tony Robbins and have that involved, I actually had a epiphany with the emails that you sent, going, oh my God, I didn't even know. And I'll let you know, you guys, the one, and I'm not going to call you out, but you seemed a little worried that I would take it or I'd be offended or I'd find it offensive, and I didn't find it offensive at all. You see, this is going to drive me crazy now, guys, because I'm going to catch. There's a certain point I'm going to either have to I'm just going to have to do it, because I notice when we have chats going and we have folks in the chat and we're actually having a decent conversation, I don't do it at all or very little when there's conversation. It just seems that when I'm not in a conversation, that's when it kind of happens, because I'm pausing, but I'm trying to use the filler words for that. Do you see what I put up with? He doesn't get it. Yes, you're so retarded. Yes, I know. I don't understand this cat. Guys, I am not a cat person. I don't like cats. He's very special, because I do think he's got brain damage or something, because no matter how many times I tell him no matter how many times I say I don't want him up here, he insists on coming up here and being part of the show. So I'm going to get him his own little cat cam, and we're going to set him down, and we're going to let him be and have some fun. But I'm telling you, I'm not a cat guy. But I do love animals, don't get me wrong. It's just I'm actually allergic to cats. And I'm stuck with this one because my son got him kind of left by an elderly lady to him. So I've raised my kids. I shouldn't have to do this again. Yes, I hear you. I can hear you right now purring. Yes. So anyway, if anyone you would like a cat, this is Mr. Whiskers. You're more than welcome to have him. I'll throw in some kitty litter and some cat food, and he would love to be part of your family. God. I feel like, what was it, Austin Power? Yes. Mr. Biggles? I don't know what his name was. I can't remember. But hang on one second. I'm gonna do a call for help. So hold on one second. Just put a beck and call a hi.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you could take him?
Sure.
He seems to want to always climb up here and be on me when I'm doing this, and I don't know why. And he just doesn't get the fact that it's not that I don't like cats. Well, yeah, it is. I'm allergic to them, and he just seems to have this thing where he has to be on me for some reason. I think if you don't like cats, they kind of sense that, and as a form of torment, they kind of say, "Oh, you don't like me? Well, good. I'm going to lay all over you." And it's just, but of course, if you like animals, you don't want to be mean to them. But at the same time, I'm sitting here going, "Oh God, please!" My nose, everything starts going crazy because I'm allergic to him. But you know, he is a cool cat, and don't get me wrong, he's a cool cat. He absolutely no fear of anything, not of dogs, not of people, not of vacuums, nothing. He's never known anything but unconditional love. He was a cat. This elderly lady had him since he was a kitten in this elder care home that she lived in, and everybody babied the cat. Everybody gave him nothing but love, and every single day he was just held and coddled. Well, then when she passed away, she actually left this cat to my son. And of course, he's been babied and coddled since he's been here. So it's kind of, he doesn't know. He actually thinks he's a dog. So if there's a such thing as a cat dog, that's probably it, because he'll put on the leash. He wants to go for walks and go outside and go for car rides. Just a very strange cat. So anyway, that's my catastrophe for today. Sorry about that. I couldn't resist. But I will once again tell myself, no more us. So anyway, guys, I hopefully you had, as I was saying, hopefully you had a great weekend. This weekend was pretty fun for me. I started doing the little random acts of kindness. Had a lot of fun doing it, and I'll probably end up doing that as we go along. I'm thinking every Saturday. Every Saturday I'll be able to go ahead and do a couple little acts of kindness, and just, nothing major, just little things. A lunch here, maybe some gas or something. And I'm taking your suggestions. I actually I wrote them all, copied and pasted them into a piece of paper to where I could actually take and have the suggestions you guys brought. I mean, your suggestions were great. I mean, that's what, when I went, and it's one thing, we paid for movie tickets for them. We paid for some lunches for folks. I love doing those random acts of kindness. So I think it's really cool to be able to do those things. And I think that's, every Saturday I'm going to kind of go out and we'll do those. And every time you guys throw the bits in there, or the embers, or all the different, the tips, all that's going to go on to do those things too. So I had a great time. I mean, if you remember what the look on that lady's face was, that was so cool. Just doing things that people totally unexpected. And those little random acts of kindness, to me, were really worth doing. I mean, I had a great time doing them. So every Saturday, I'm going to go ahead and we'll talk during the week, and we'll come up with something that we want to do. And your suggestions were great. All the emails, I took all the suggestions, and I kind of put them down into a list. Some of them, the nice part I liked about it is not everything was monetarily. So it's not like you guys were focused on just giving away money. You had little suggestions that were like the one suggestion I had was the little sticky notes. Just write motivational things on the sticky notes and put them up there. That was awesome. I mean, those type, put them in the restrooms. Those were suggestions that I really enjoyed, because you're thinking out of the box, thinking of something different, and I enjoyed it. So that's kind of where I was at this whole weekend, just enjoying going out and doing some nice things. And Also, I had a nice time. I went out and seen a movie. I had a decent lunch, and it was fun. It was really a good time. Today, you see that crap? You guys are gonna kill me with that. I almost wish I didn't read that email. Oh man. So I'm gonna have to. I'll do the half hour today. Son of a. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to do the half hour today. Unless it gets busy in chat, unless we start chatting, that's fine. But I'll do a half hour, and then I'll come back, and I'll just keep coming back to around 7 o'clock throughout the week, and we'll try and get some more people involved in our chats. As I build, and I'm hoping just to get, 1, maybe 2 followers every time I do a stream. If I can do a stream and just get a couple followers, that's really all I'm asking. I'm not asking something outrageous or something that is not possible. Just having 1 or 2 followers every time I do a stream, that's great, because then by the end of the year I'll have a couple hundred followers, and the chats will start to be more engaging. We can have a lot more fun, and we can talk about pretty much anything. So if you've got, it's one of those things where if you've got time and you stop by, just follow, or if you're on Mixer, you can follow. YouTube, you can subscribe, and we'll try and have a little bit of fun. I'm not really sure. Tomorrow I've got class, so I'm pretty sure my class starts early enough to where I'll be on time. I have 5 classes I have to take, and I'm down to like my final 1 class, possibly 2 classes. I'm not sure. I have to check and see where I'm at. But I will go ahead and I think the class is at 5 o'clock, and it typically goes for about an hour, hour and a half. So I should be okay if if everything goes well, it should be okay to where I'll be here on time tomorrow, right on time. So that's about all I got, guys. I mean, I wish I had more to talk about, or I wish there's more of you guys in chat, and we could be a little bit more. But that was another conversation I had. If you remember, I was talking about doing something on Saturday, because I know a lot of times during the week, or even the time I come on is a little later than most people. They're kind of in the middle of getting dinner or doing something. Now, let me see real quick, just so I can take a look here. Bear with me. I'm gonna see if I've got. All right, so that's, I've never looked at this is the first time I've actually pulled my stream up and took a look at it on my computer, and it actually looks pretty cool. I mean, I've got join giveaway. I have no idea. Pick a card, redeemed. This is actually pretty cool. I've never even looked at my own stream. I mean, I've never actually pulled it up and went to Twitch and actually viewed it. But I see here, like, when I'm looking at it, I see I've got all the things that I've enabled, all the things that I've put down here to, like here it says, get Final Fantasy. I don't even know what half this stuff is. I'm a new streamer. I've been doing this since January. So there are things that I understand and other things that I don't understand. And I was trying to figure out the tips and the bits and the embers and all that stuff. And I'm trying to get all that put together. But what I do see is like this little logo thing. Song queue, request a song. I don't know what that is. Scratchers. What is scratchers? See, I don't even know what Okay, how many shodo do you want to wager? I'll wager 43. Something new to me. This is literally, I've never looked at my own stream on Twitch. I've been on it 100 times to stream it. This is the first time I've ever put the thing up to actually see how the overlay looks I seen it on Mixer and some of the other ones, but I just wanted to make sure I had everything done. So the followers, like when people would follow, I would hear that, but I try not to focus on it. So this is the first time I've actually looked at it, and it's I'm hoping it looks okay to you guys too, because I put a lot of time into it. But there's things on here like games I didn't even know. I didn't even know how the games worked. I just activated them when I was setting it up. It said, "Do you want these games?" And I activated the stuff. But it's actually pretty cool. Hopefully this looks good for you guys too, because being a new streamer, I'm trying my darndest to try and make a stream that looks halfway decent. There's so many people out there with the games that they've got a different setup, and because I'm not doing all the games, I'm not gaming. I mean, even though I tried it, if you watch some of the earlier streams, I'm a poker player, I'm an avid tournament player. So I tried to do some of the streams with my PokerStars account, but it's free. It's free poker, so how many people are really going to watch free poker? Now, if I was paying for tournaments or something big money, they may watch that a little bit more. But for the most part, I've tried to put the stream together to where I can get a decent following. If you're watching and you're not a follower, do me a favor, follow me if you're on Twitch, because I'd love to get the actual. Twitch is funny, and a lot of these mixers, you have to have so many followers to get unlocked, so you can be a partner or you can be an affiliate, and all these little rules that they have. So if you're on any of the platforms that I'm streaming to right now, I stream to Twitch, Mixer, Periscope, YouTube, StreamMe, Smashcast, whatever. And if that's one of your platforms, do me a favor and just follow me or subscribe if you can. I would appreciate it. It helps me out. I love your feedback. When you guys send me emails, I take it under consideration. I really do listen to what you say. One of the guys I watch on, one of the guys I have really on Twitch and even on YouTube, he's a really great streamer, is Barnacles. If you ever watch Barnacles, Jerry's got a great channel that he's built over the years. He's got like 70,000 followers, close to 1 million on YouTube, but it's really a great stream. And I've tried to echo and kind of follow some of the tips that he's kind of let loose, when he's doing his stream. I've kind of tried to pay attention and listen to some of the things he said. I'm not as crazy as him. I don't do the smoke machine, the lights, the flashing lights and all the disco lights and that. I don't do all of that stuff yet because I'm so new. I'm just kind of just trying to find that niche, trying to find what I do or what I can do. And that was kind of like Saturday. That's what Saturday was about. I like going out and, buying people lunch, doing those random acts of kindness. And then it was like, well, you know what? I can stream those. I can put those on and let people kind of see the smiles too. That was kind of fun. Everything I've done here, I've kind of enjoyed, like the backdrops. I don't know if you can hear the fireplace. Like the fireplace over which way? Over here might be loud. I'm not sure if you hear that over my voice, but it's just a backdrop. It's not even, it's a chroma key. So I've had some fun with those because I've been able to switch them up quite a bit. But doing the live stream has really been a learning experience because I didn't know how much went into this. I've probably watched over 100 live gamers. You got guys like Ninja, and you've got over on there's a PewDiePie that's on YouTube, and I've watched all these different streamers and the streams they have. Sometimes I'm confused. Sometimes I don't get it. Like that ASMR, or I had to watch that for I went through probably a half dozen of the actual streams, and I just couldn't get it. I mean, it was just like people scratching cardboard, crinkling paper. I didn't get it. So there are some times where as a new streamer, I'm kind of learning what the different channels are out there, what they do. But for the most part, there's people that do this for a living. I'm kind of blessed. I've got a job. I work at a prison. If you've been watching, like I said, I started streaming in January. So if you've been watching since then, you probably know I work at a prison and I teach technology to inmates. So it's been an interesting ride to kind of come into the live streaming and knowing technology. I've been doing networks and that for years, but the streaming has always been something I've kind of kept at a distance because I really never thought it was something I would enjoy. But I found out I really do enjoy it. I mean, we've had great conversations about motorcycles and tons of different conversations, which I really love. And when the chat gets going, it makes it a lot of fun. but I didn't think I'd like it at first. And then as I was watching the streamers and the people that do it, I see that, wow, these guys, I mean, they're awesome. I mean, they really put a lot of effort. Well, some of them. A lot of them are, I kind of lose myself because I'll go to some game channels and they're so focused on the gameplay. I'll watch their chat and their chat will be like, you live in a cool, oh, no, dude, it's not really it's not really my house. I was just talking about that before you got here. It's actually a chroma key, which is a background. I'll give you an example. So when you look at the chroma key behind me, let me see if I can do this here. You'll see that I can go from there to, see if I can transition it here. See how the background changes? And it goes from one to, it's kind of like the guy who's doing the map for, let me see if I can transition here. I can be sitting at a window, and I can really kind of put whatever kind of a background I want. It's not really, I wish it was my house. I wish I lived in that house, but it's not. I actually, let me see, this is more my speed here. Let me see if I can find my, let me see here. Yeah, that's about my speed right here. Yeah, well, the other day the maid was off, so I didn't really get a chance to clean up. That's more or less my speed. But I have let me see if I can go here. Take that one off. But you get the idea. It's not really, I can pretty much be any, Hi, Captain, I don't know how that maximum warp speed is not happening. I don't know. So you can pretty much put whatever background you want. You look like God in the last one. Cool. Anyway, you get the idea. I can pretty much change the background from one to the other. And I have a lot of fun. This is, my brother kind of recommended to me the different thing. He's like, when I told him I wanted to start streaming and do a live stream, he was the one who kind of was suggesting to me what I really needed to do a stream that was halfway decent. And I went out and I did. I kind of followed everything. I put the chroma key behind me so I could put the backdrop. Everything he suggested I did. I mean, he says, well, you need this big monitor, you need this computer, you need this. And the thing is, being in technology, I kept thinking to myself, well, God, these guys stream on their cell phones. Why do I need all this gear? But he kind of convinced me. He says, no, you want to get a time slot so you know that they know you're going to be there. You want to start. So he was kind of giving me a little, because he's a huge gamer. He does World of Warcraft, Fortnite. He's a gamer. So he was really kind of trying to tell me this is what you need to do to have a decent stream. And I tried to listen, and I tried to make my overlays so they look pretty cool and at least decent. But it has been fun. It's really a lot different than I thought it was going to be. Because when I looked at some of the streams, there were some guys that were so focused on their game, the chat would go. They weren't acknowledging people coming in the chat. They weren't. And for me, it was kind of like, well, I really hate to do that. I would really want to be able to acknowledge the folks that are coming in and out and taking the time to kind of tune in and watch. You want to acknowledge. You should GTA, no joke. You should GTA, no joke. GTA. I'm an old guy. Help me. What am I? You should GTA. No joke. All right. Anyway, see, now that's going to buy. Okay, give me a hint. What is GTA? Okay, the game. Okay. Is that the Grand Theft Auto? Is that what we're looking at? Am I right? We were talking about, I was mentioning World of Warcraft, Fortnite. I mean, I'd love to game. Believe me, I've even tried. Actually, I think I told you guys, M33P. You were in before. And I was kind of telling you guys, I did try Hitman. I tried Hitman 2. Yeah, I remember you. And I tried Hitman 2, and I just couldn't do it because I was not... I get angry because I'm one of those guys that number one, I don't like to die. I want to be the best at it, and I'm very kind of over competitive, and I get angry. You know, and I was like, God, nobody wants to sit there and watch somebody get angry and start throwing things and get upset. I'm like, that's not what they want to watch. They want to watch somebody that's good at these games. That's why they kind of tune in. And I'm like, I suck bad, because I mean, I just want one, you put a gun in my hand and I go out, and that's I would enjoy, you know, maybe Call of Duty or something else, then I would probably enjoy it. But, you know, if it involves any degree of skill or any degree of expertise, or, you know, no, that's not me. Give me a gun, I'll go out and I'll remember, well, probably before your time, but I was your 21st follower. Yeah, you're my 20. I was joking the other day, we were talking, I said, I have so many on Mixer, and I have so many on, are you on Mixer, or are you Twitch? I think you're Mixer, if I remember correctly, you're on Mixer. And yeah, and we were talking about the donation button the other day. I didn't have any of that stuff. Well, I think I got a lot of that stuff worked out, but there's so much that I'm still learning, being new. We were just talking the other day about Embers, or no, not Embers. The other currency that Mixer uses, and you know, Sparkles, I think they were something, and I found out like I had 200 and something thousands of these. What the heck were they? They weren't Sparkles. What the hell were they? I don't know, whatever you guys have on Mixer, it's the Embers and something else, and I have like 200,000 of them, because I didn't even know I was getting these things every time I stream. They give you so many of them as you're streaming. I had no idea what they were, so I was like giving away the other day. I think I gave over 100,000 of them away to people, just that I would go to their stream and watch, because I didn't even know I was collecting them. So, but it's been a learning curve. I learned a lot for me to kind of learn, because being that my background was not in streaming. I was in radio and television broadcasting before. I was an executive producer in Detroit. From talk show during the day, so I had a background in, but it was radio. This is different. Being a live streaming is way different. As I was saying, some of the streamers, they don't engage very much. They kind of just focus on their games. And I don't know. I was only gonna do like a half hour tonight. It kind of just depends. If people are here to chat with, I'll stay as long as I can, as long as I want. But if it's kind of slow, because as I said, I'm new, so I'm just building my followers. I think I have 30 on Twitch maybe, and maybe 30 on Mixer. So if I can just kind of get one new follower every time I stream, that's cool. So, but if you can't stay, man, don't worry. I appreciate you just coming by. But I try not to be, I don't want to be on too long. If there's no one here, I want to make sure that I am here when I say I'm going to be here. If I say 7, plus or minus a few minutes on either side, I'm going to be here on time. That way people can kind of count on me being where I'm supposed to. So I'll be on as long as I can keep babbling, I'll definitely stay on. Oh, my nectar of the gods, my Mountain Dew. Gotta have it. But yeah, man, this 4K camera is, just so weird. I've been going back and watching some of my videos, and I swear to God, I'm looking, it looks like any hair that I don't shave, it just like magnifies, and it makes me look like I have bad acne, or look like I have discoloration, but I'll go and I'll look it up. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, head out, don't leave, not just so weird. No, I'll be here for a while. I'll definitely see you when you get back. I'm kind of just hanging out myself. This is why I have no life, so it's pretty much here. But this is definitely kind of a weird to be on here, and it's taken me a while to learn how to at least talk, and not, like, if you guys follow me in the morning drive, I do a morning drive at like 6:15, and I do an afternoon drive around 3:30, and just to talk out loud and kind of stream while I'm on my way to work, because I'm one of those poor working saps. I actually have to work a 40-hour work week, so it sucks, but I do have a job that I enjoy. I mean, I work at a prison, very stressful, very sucky place to work, but I at least have the ability to make a difference for these guys, just a little bit in their lives, so hopefully when they get out, and they just don't hold up another store, go get another DUI, or rob somebody, hopefully I can make a little bit of difference in their lives. And that's kind of what today did. I had some fun today going with Tony Robbins, man. I played them some Tony Robbins from YouTube, and they absorbed that stuff. They really were into that. So I try to enjoy what I do, because the worst thing in the world is go to a job that you absolutely are miserable at. And that's kind of, this is therapeutic for me. When I come home and I'm streaming to work or on the way back, even when I come home, this is therapeutic. I get to be me. And if I got some cool people that come on board and they chat with me and talk about their day or what they're going through or whatever, that's even better. It's kind of like icing on the cake, because that's, I'm not, by no means am I perfect or I'm anybody that can give advice, but I do like to, at least have decent conversation. Especially if you work with people like I work with okay people, but even the officers and the folks that are the staff, you don't have a lot of how can I put it? I don't want to come off weird, but you don't have too much intelligent conversation. That's probably you're kind of limited. The inmates are very special. I mean, there's guys that they want to talk. They want to talk about everything and anything, and they bore you're just, and a lot of them are very manipulative. So they're trying to manipulate you, and then you got the ones that are just, they give you that Billy, like, you ever see what was that movie, Sling Blade, with Billy Bob Thornton, right? That's like the inmates. I mean, in that movie, he was like a psych patient. Well, we have those at my prison. We have psych patients, and I swear to you, they sit in the hallway outside the medical, and they are just, matter of fact, here we go. Here.
You gonna make me some biscuits? Yeah, we gonna do some biscuits and gravy. I like the way you talk.
That's it, man. These guys are like the spitting image of like Billy Bob Thornton.
I like the way you talk, boy.
It scares the living hell out of you. So it's stressful sometimes, but you don't get a lot of conversation that's anything halfway decent. People just kind of want to complain. I would say most everybody I work with, they're miserable. They hate and I think it's the environment. Of course, it's a prison. It's not a fun place. But most people that work there, they like those luxuries, those fine luxuries in life, like food, shelter, clothing, so they work. It's a job. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's not, if you go there with the right frame of mind and like, today I'm going to mold a mind, I'm going to make a difference, even if it's just it doesn't got to be, just a kind word. Sometimes a motivational word or an inspirational word can really make a difference in these guys, because they don't get that very often. They just don't. And for you to be there and kind of give that to them, that's pretty awesome. But I mean, I've had a lot of crappy jobs in my life. I mean, I've done a lot of jobs that I've hated, and this is one of the few that I actually, I don't have to. That's why I said I'm kind of blessed. I don't have to. There's people that do this. They do live streaming for their living, and I've seen people make $800, $1,000 during one live stream. And I told you, if you followed me this weekend or whatever, I told you guys, whenever you donate tips or bits or embers or anything, all of that goes on to my. They mailed me I guess it was just a PayPal debit card, and that's kind of what I'm going to use to go out on the weekends, and I'll kind of live stream everything, and we'll go out and do some truly random acts of kindness to people. We'll pay for their lunch, we'll do things, and that's kind of what I think I'm going to have a lot of fun doing. But there's folks that I work with that are miserable, that don't want to be to work, and they just are. It's not a career, it's just a job. And unfortunately, I try my darndest to kind of motivate them or kind of give them a little, but most of them are not receptive to it. So the conversations are very, very limited at work. You don't get a chance to really talk to anybody about anything. So this is, as I said, a live stream was therapeutic. When my brother was telling me, he's like, no, man, you don't want to do it. You don't want to do a live stream. I was like, no, I really do. I want to do this live stream. He's like, are you committed to it? You going to commit to it? I was like, yeah, I'm going to commit to it. I want to do a live stream. And he was the way. He says, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I've tried to do that. And I mean, hopefully when I say I'm going to be here at 7, I'll be here plus or minus 5 or 10 minutes. I mean, I'll be here. But it is kind of fun because I'm learning. Being a new streamer, every single time I log on and oh, matter of fact, I'll give you my email. It's POVAmerica at Outlook.com. So I do reply to all of your emails. Well, you guys know that. I respond back via email, or I'll talk to you guys on the stream. And I try to do that because the input you give me is really great feedback. There's been a couple times where, you know, you were a little overcritical, like if we were talking about politics. That was one of the things about politics. Well, that's one of those topics that everybody's going to have a heated opinion on. You're either going to like, well, what is your feeling on the wall? And I say, oh, I think the wall's a great idea. Oh my God. I mean, it's like I killed somebody's brother. You say, yeah, I think the wall's a great idea. There's going to be somebody out there that is just like, what are you, crazy man? Your walls, hey man, you don't have to agree with me, but I mean, yeah, there was definitely some times where, you know, I got some of the emails and I kind of felt the brunt of what you were. You know, everybody tries to convince you, and the same thing with religion. If you say anything about religion, people will try. If you're a believer, they'll try and tell you why you're crazy, and if you're, you know, if you're not a believer, they'll tell you why you're crazy. So it's kind of like a lose-lose in a lot of these, but that's fun. I mean, to me, it doesn't really matter what you're talking about. The whole idea is at least you're engaging and talking about something. I've had people that we had one of the streamers a while back has a personal, like a relationship question she put out there, and I found it to be kind of curious and kind of interesting, but at the same time, I can only give advice based on my own life. I mean, I've been married 30 years to the same woman who tolerates me. I have no idea why. She's still here. I'm childish, I'm juvenile, I'm immature, and she's still here 30 years later. And I didn't tie her up or anything. I mean, she can freely move. I mean, but she's still here, you know. So I can only tell you my experience. You know, I've had kids. I've raised 5 kids. I'm childish myself. So I think that's kind of why things work out, is because I can relate more to things than most adults, you know, because I'm the guy who goes see Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, I'm looking forward to Toy Story 3. I mean, this is who I am, man. I can't be this at work. I go to work, you know, I gotta, yeah, how's it going, man? Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, rock on. Yeah. You got to be a certain way. So it's weird to be able to get out and say, all right, I'm enjoying myself. I'm kind of just relaxed. I have no idea, being, like I said, I'm a news streamer. I have no idea if I'm doing a good show because I have nothing to really gauge it on. I go to a lot of these shows and I watch them, and I have no talent. There's people that play the guitar. I play the guitar really, really bad. I know like 5 or 6 chords, you know, my scales, but I have no talent whatsoever. I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't play an instrument, and I don't game. I mean, there's part of me that goes, what the hell are you doing streaming? No talent whatsoever. Oh, I can do a magic trick. Every now and then I can do a magic trick, and that's like, oh, wow, that's no talent. Everybody does magic. But the point being is I try to put something together that was more for me to have some fun and just be able to say, you know what? I'm enjoying it. I think that I'm, you know, as long as I'm having a good time, that's all. I'm like my own best company half the time. My wife always makes fun of me, and she's like, because I'll go to a movie. I go to movies, but I went and seen Aquaman this weekend. We were doing those random acts of kindness. I was buying lunch for people and stuff, but I went and seen Aquaman, which, by the way, 7.5, maybe a low 8 out of 1 to 10. It was okay. Way too much CGI graphics, just in case you were going to go see it, if you haven't already seen it. But it was okay, just not the best. Go see like Deadpool 2. Those were the ones that were fun to go see. But anyway, a huge movie buff if you haven't figured it out. But yeah, this is kind of where I'm at, doing the stream. No talent, you know, no real talent. I mean, I've seen some of the people I follow just have a natural talent, man. They sing, they do all kinds of stuff, and I'm kind of here going, well, yeah, I don't really have any kind of talent to speak of, but you know, so how was your day? So I try to keep a a little bit of fun into it because I don't want to take it too serious. That's why the POV America, the actual name, POV was point of view. And originally it was going to be, I was going to do like a political channel. Oh, we'll talk about all this politics stuff. But then I realized to talk about politics, you actually have to, understand politics. Go figure. Who thought? I mean, I know so many people that are in politics that don't really get it. But apparently you have to know it. So I spent a lot of time trying to learn politics. And I spent, picture this. I joined the Army. I did 8 years in, did my Desert Storm tour, and I was so focused on raising my kids and I kind of just trusted the politicians they'll do what's right for my country and my family. Yeah, they'll handle it. And I put my head down. I paid no attention to anything. And then I get a phone call from my brother going, "Hey man, you know who's president?" I'm like, "Well, who? Donald Trump." "Oh, cool. Yeah, it's all right, man. I watched The Apprentice. That's cool. I'm sure it'll be fine." Yeah, had I had it to do again, I probably would have paid more attention because I trust people to do the things, and you're like, wow, man, that really blew up in my face. I should have just followed it and listened to like my brother, who's, he's a big Rush Limbaugh person. But anyway, so that's why the POV America came by. It was going to be just a sort of temporary placeholder until I figured out how the whole live streaming thing was going to be put together. I was trying to create this overlay, trying to create all this stuff and I went from OBS software to the OBS Streamlabs to Stream Elements. Tried all these different platforms, trying to make it look halfway decent, but not really knowing what type of a channel I wanted. So then, by this time, I've already been stuck with like POV America. I've got 30 followers on like Mixer and then 30 on Twitch. I'm going, oh man, damn, I can't change it now because everybody's kind of like followed this name. And I was like, well, if I change it, will it just send out an invitation, to the old name? I have no idea how Twitch and them work. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just keep POV America. No matter how much I wanted to change it, I've ended up keeping it now. But that's kind of one of the things that I really struggled with putting the channel together was what type of it. I didn't want to be pigeonholed into a political channel or pigeonholed into. I wanted to be able to talk about UFOs, conspiracy theories, whatever we came up with. Just a group of people that wanted to engage and say, hey man, today did you read about this? Or like for those of you guys that have been watching since January, I love business, technology, innovation. I'm huge on that. So I love that kind of stuff. And every now and then I'll get into I'll get an email from I just had one not too long ago, husband and wife. They were starting a restaurant and they had heard me mention that I owned restaurants and business centers, and I have a very diverse business background, and they asked for some business tips and starting their restaurant. And so I just threw out during the live stream in the morning, I kind of just threw out some thoughts about contracts and all the, just different things that helped me do my business, thinking that maybe it would help. I got a letter back, like literally a day or so I guess apparently it helped them immensely. And I was like, well, that's cool. That's kind of why I like doing it. I mean, I didn't have any idea if what I would say would even be anything that was really interesting to them, or maybe it was something they already knew, but apparently a lot of it was great advice for them they didn't know. So that was kind of like when I put this channel together, I was like, yeah, let's just get a group of people together and let's, we'll come on, we'll chat about whatever. If we want to talk about politics, politics is there. You want to talk about religion, religion's there. Nothing's off limits, but at the same time, I can only go off of my own experience and things. So when I say things, I might offend you. It may not be what you want to hear, but just know that it's the reality of my world. I mean, I'm not always right. As a matter of fact, as my wife will tell you, I'm mostly wrong. I think I've been right twice in 30 years, and the first time I was right was when I admitted that I was wrong. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not right about all these things, but I can tell you that, when I talk, it's based on my own experience, just like anyone. If you give advice to someone, they have to understand it's based on your experience. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I've definitely made more mistakes than I've ever had successes. I can honestly say that because I know that to be true. The beliefs I have are really simple. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm basically just who I am. What you see is what you get. I have no reason to lie in my life. There's nothing artificial about me other than the fact that when I go to work, I do put on a different face. I think a lot of people do. I think a lot of people go to work, even when you deal with the people in your own life. I mean, how many people really truly see the true you? I mean, are you always happy, gregarious? Are you always this way? Or do you put on a work face, a school face, and then a face for your friends and family? I mean, is it different? I mean, for me, it's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it is. I go to work and I'm one person, and I finally get off and I'm like, oh man, I can go home and I can kind of just decompress and I can be myself and just kind of relax. And that's what I long for. That's really what I want. I mean, more than anything, I want to be able to just not have to put on that face and not have to be someone I'm not. So the streaming, I've said it earlier, it is therapeutic. It's cool because it's no matter how bad things go for me, no matter how bad my day is, and I have some, believe me when I say I work in a prison, I have some crappy days that are just absolute terrible. But at the same time, even though those days are over, I leave them behind. I don't carry it with me. I don't let anybody steal my joy under any circumstance if I can help it. I mean, I don't want somebody else to control how I feel. I mean, I don't want somebody else to make me feel bad. And if that happens, it's only because I'm letting it happen, and I don't want to let that happen. Because in the whole, I mean, if you think about it, and you may agree with me, you may not, but you can't change anyone else. You can't change your mother, brother, sister, cousin, uncle, aunt. You can't. You can change yourself. You can try and change other people, but the change comes from within. They either want to change or they don't want to change. And no matter what you want for them, it's not going to change anything. They're going to be who they're going to be, whether you like it or not. I have a brother, and this is the brother. This guy would give you the shirt off his back. That's just how he is. It's like he would put anybody in front of him. And I've tried to tell him, I says, he's gotten into some trouble not thinking of himself first and putting everybody else first. And I says, look, you got to understand, you can't take care of anyone until you take care of yourself. It's great that you want to do these things, but you can't take care of someone else until you can take care of yourself. That's like, I go out this weekend, Saturday. We went out, I videotaped it for you guys, and let me take that back. I didn't videotape it because I'm old, and that's what I remember, videotapes. No, I live streamed it for you guys so you could see, the stuff that we did. Had a lot of fun. Did those random acts of kindness. We bought lunch for a couple people, bought movie tickets for the family, and, I did those things not because I could afford to, so to speak, but it wasn't going to hurt me if I did. So it was just a way that I felt really good about doing it. It was a surprise to them. But I took care of me before. I made sure my bills were paid. I made sure that I took care of my stuff before I went out and took money out of my pocket to go do that. That was just something that, I tried to get across to my brother. You always take care of you first, take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of everybody. A long time ago, I used to tell people, I'd say, if your priorities in life are straight, if you keep them straight, if you just put them in and some people, for some reason, they put them out of priority. They get them kind of out of whack, and then they wonder why their life isn't going down the right way. And for me, it was always, some of you may know that once upon a time I was a pastor, and so for me it was always God, family, and work, and I kept them in that order. And when I kept them in that order, it was cool because everything seemed to just click, man. Everything worked, and no matter what happened, it was just like great things came because I kept them in that order. That was my priority. And as soon as I started putting work over family and all that, as soon as I started juggling those priorities and rearranging them, my life went to shit. I mean, excuse me, guys. I'll try to watch my mouth. But I mean, you get what I'm saying. As soon as you put them out of order and you wonder why your life's going a certain way, you can usually say it's because you don't have your priorities straight. You're not doing the way the things have to be. So for me, it was really cool because I really, truly put them in the order that I always felt was the important way to put them, and life went great. And I mean, I've had things happen I can't even there's things that have happened, and you've probably had it too. Things that happen in your life, and you're like, wait a minute, what just happened? You can't even understand it. You can't even define what just happened. And I mean, I had things happen that were so unbelievable. I mean, things that would, and I had to sit back and go, what just happened? What? And I mean, great things. I mean, things that were just totally beyond comprehension that people would do. I had a, I'll share one with you. I'll share it. When I was doing I was building these. I designed like a franchise concept. And I had in my head I was going to franchise this concept up, and it was this great idea. And I went to I set up an appointment because I had these investors that were going to invest in it, and I set up an appointment. I said, okay, this is going to be great. I got this appointment to go meet with this landlord about the building, and it's a great location. And I went to I'm going to meet with these guys. I think it was a Friday or Saturday, but anyway, the night before, my investors call me and they're like, oh, we're really sorry, but the housing market is really tanking, and we're taking a beating on these properties we have. We're going to have to pull out. We can't invest in it. And I was like, what? I'm like, guys, I got to go meet this guy tomorrow with the property, the lease, and they're like, sorry, man, we can't help you. So I just stewed about it all night. And anyway, the next day, I go to, I keep the meeting, and I go to the landlord, and I'm trying to explain to him why I can't do it. I'm trying to tell him, no problem. Watch me on the phone. That's cool. I'm glad you're back, man. But anyway, I go to them, and I can't, I'm trying to tell him I can't do the lease. I can't do this. And he looks at me and goes, well, what are you trying to do? And I explained to him, I said, well, we're like a UPS store on steroids. We do all if you were a business center, we want to go into business to help you go into business. We want to do your corporate paperwork, your EIN number. We want to do your, all this, computer repairs, website design. We're a full service business center. And I came up with this great, and he says, well, I'll tell you what, he says, just draw it out and tell us what you want, and we'll build it out for you. We'll go ahead and we'll do a turnkey deal. I said, what? And he says, yeah, just go ahead, draw it up, and we'll go ahead, we'll build it out for you. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't have the investors. I said, the guys that were, he said, well, yeah, but you know what you want, right? Just you draw it up, and you will make it happen. I said, oh, okay. So I'm pulling out of there, and I'm like, wow, that was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. So then on my way home, and I'm calling my wife, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, yeah, this is the weirdest thing. You guys aren't going to believe what happened. I says, tell Scott, you're not going to believe this. This is wild. And before I could really get into telling her, my cell phone, clicks over. I got a second call. I said, hold on, hang on a second. I flick over the cell phone, and it was the very first landlord I had met like a month earlier. And he had a nice corner location, really. But he says, no, we want to put a Subway there. We don't need a business center type. We don't want that. So he basically balked on that. And my investors were like, oh, well, no big deal. We'll find another one. Well, anyway, this guy now calls me, and he says, hey, can you come and meet? They're flying in from California. They want to meet with you and talk to you about this location. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I'll come. So I go I divert, and I go over to meet him for lunch, and I sit down, and they're like, well, tell me about what you want to do. And I said, well, back when I met originally the first time, guys, I had investors, and right now, because of the housing market, they've decided to pull out, and they're going to go ahead and try and recoup some of their losses. And they're like, well, yeah, that's fine, but just tell me, what was the idea? What was the concept? So I said, well, we're like we're a UPS store on steroids, and we do all the business stuff. So I explained it to them, and they're like, well, tell you what, you just draw it up, and we'll make it happen for you. I said, what? So I'm sitting, this is just so unbelievable. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So I'm driving. I'm going, what just happened? What just happened? I signed one lease, and then I go here and I sign another lease for two properties for two businesses that I don't even have. Wow. I mean, I couldn't comprehend it. Well, now, 90 days later, they come and they give me the keys to the first place, and it was the total build out was little over $100 and something thousand, and it was just waiting for me to literally walk in. They had done everything I wanted. I had all my stuff, and and I had money for the computers. And the second one, they built it out. It was 156 or 159,000. They built it all out for me, and gave me FF&E to purchase furniture, fixtures, and equipment that I needed. And I was just blown away. I was like, I can't believe this. This is just, but my priorities were always in order. I always kept them true, and things just started happening. Well, then, a year later, I was like, I wanted. For those of you that have been watching the stream since January, I love No Limit Hold'em. I love playing in poker tournaments. And when I lived in Arizona, I was in Vegas probably 7, 8, 9, 10 days a month playing in tournaments. I just love the game of, No Limit Hold'em. So, but I got tired of making the drive of 4.5 hours. And in Arizona, they have Indian casinos, and there's just not as much entertainment as there is in Vegas. But anyway, I ended up saying, well, I really wanted to build a poker club, a club. So I ended up building a poker club. And when I went and I pitched the guy that, they did a turnkey deal, $250,000, nothing. I was literally at each of my $1,000 out of pocket for my one business, $1,000 out of pocket for the other, and the poker club about $1,000. Unbelievable things were happening, and I couldn't even explain how, cool. Welcome back. So I couldn't explain how all this stuff was going on and how lucky, and I just felt very lucky to be able to do some of that stuff and get all these things. And matter of fact, if you ever go on YouTube, you can actually see the commercial that I used to run for my club. It's if you go on YouTube and look up Paradise Cove Social Club will show you the actual poker club that's my club. And look at my background. Let me see if hold on. A lot of times that's just, a camera. Sorry about that, guys. But you can actually see the poker club if you go to Paradise Cove Social Club. That's the commercial I used to run during the World Series of Poker and all the different poker shows. And actually, I think you can actually go to, if you type in My Office Business Center, if you type My Office Business Center into YouTube, you can actually see the business centers I built as well. So, it's really, those are the types of things that, as I said, business technology innovation I've always loved. But I realized so long ago that there's really nothing you can't do if you set your mind to it. A lot of people say that. You've probably all heard, if you can see it, you can achieve it. But, there's so much truth in that. You don't even think about it as you go through life. Many people don't. I never realized how much I've accomplished and how much I've done, and it's all been really effortless. Say it again, effortlessly. That's appropriate? Yeah. So it's been easier than I ever thought, because once you've done it once you've done one business, once you have a taste of success, you really kind of just like, what? There's no stopping me. There's really nothing I can't do. And it's been, my wife will tell you, she hates the fact I took her and my daughter up in an airplane. I had no pilot's license. I was just thinking about getting a pilot's license, and the guy had a plane. He's like, yeah, we'll do it. And he put me behind, and I took that plane up, I flew it around, I landed that sucker, and she and my daughter had kittens, man. They were like just freaking out. But I was like, yeah, it's not as hard as I thought. And the funny part is, it's kind of like, I think a lot of us, we really defeat ourselves. We really, truly, we are the ones that are like our own worst enemy. We second guess our gut feelings. We don't want to go and do things, or we don't accomplish anything that we literally could do. If you really believed you were unstoppable, if you really believed there was nothing that you couldn't do, I truly believe you could probably do anything you put your mind to. A lot of people, like even going in business, I hear it all the time. People want to go into business and they're going, I don't have the money. I need to get a loan. I need, and they look at things the wrong way. And everybody will tell you, they love to tell you what you can't do. They'll tell you, you can't do this. You can't drive more than 55. You can't, get your mail delivery on a Sunday. You can't, everybody likes to tell you what you can't do. Oh, found it. Oh, did you? You actually went and seen it? So yeah, you'll see that. Those are some of the one is the commercial. The Paradise Cove Social Club is the commercial, and then the My Office Business Center is the franchise concept I designed. But those are the things I love doing. And I think if people really realized how successful they could be in business and relationships, none of it's rocket science. It's so simple. I mean, I've lasted 30 years and I wouldn't change one single moment of it. Good, bad, indifferent, fights, arguments, we've had it all. But I wouldn't change 1 minute of it. I truly, I always say it, I can't think of getting up and not having my wife there. It just boggles the mind because, I mean, she tolerates me. I'd never find anybody that tolerates me like that. Never. Juvenile, childish, and she still sticks around. So I'm very, very fortunate. But I really think that if people believed it, if people knew how much they could accomplish in their relationships, in their school, in their work, in their relationships with family and friends, and I think if they really truly knew what was possible, they would be unstoppable. But I think a lot of times we like to have pity parties, and I'm guilty of it every now and then. I mean, I'll have a little pity party and woe is me about this or that. But boy, I'll tell you what, in a minute or two, I snap. I'm like, you know what? Not going to let something steal my joy. I know this will pass. It's just, believe me, I've been there, done that, and I know exactly what it's like to have bad luck. I've had bad luck before. But, it's not something that I really, truly focus on. When I have bad luck, it happens to everybody, but it's not something I dwell on and I get lost on. So it's... I think everybody has it, that whether you're married, dating, single, we all have that, we play that game with ourselves, but or we don't put enough focus on the things that are really important. Excuse me 1 second, a little nectar of the gods here. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about earlier. See that? The 4K camera picks up, but if I look in the mirror, I just see stubble. But this thing really, I'm going to have to get one of those little masks and just wear the mask, just see my eyes. But no, it's not too bad. I mean, it's what you make of it. I think anything in life is what you make of it. And I'm fortunate. I don't have to, as I was saying, there's guys that do the streams for full time, like Barnacules, the guy I watch. If you ever watch Barnacules, he does it full time. I'm one of the guys that I do it just because I enjoy it. And eventually, I hope to grow it over the course of a year or a couple years to have, some really great, great folks that are on board. So did you see, what did you watch? Did you watch the commercial or did you actually watch did you watch the news story? There was two. There was a news thing and then there was a commercial for the club. Which one did you watch? Or did you watch both of them? I'm kind of curious. I know they were both on there. I've seen them before. The one commercial we ran every day during the World Series of Poker and everything, and that was probably one of the best things. I had the most fun at my own club. My mom loved it. When she was alive, she loved to come and play all the time and in the tournaments. So I was kind of glad that she got to do that her last year. Oh, you saw the commercial? Okay. Yeah, and then if you look up the My Office Business Center, you'll see there's an actual a news story. The news media came down to my location and they did some kind of a news story with us. And I was there kind of helping them out. And they just wanted to do a news story, so I did the news story. But those are when you're in business and when you're doing new things, that's what life is. Life is nothing but more than experiences. And I've been very, very, very blessed to just kind of be able to do whatever I set my mind to. I've done things that I think that are really, it's very difficult for me to explain. I mean, I was but I've never had a plan. See, most people in life, they go through life with a game plan. They know what they want. They know what they want to be. I want to be an accountant. I want to be a CPA. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an architect. I want to be an engineer. They have focus. They have focus and they have drive and they have determination to go after what they want. And they have this plan, this life plan. I have none of that. I've never had that. Not that I didn't want it. At one point, I wanted to be a lawyer. I took my LSATs, and boom, I blew them away. I was really down to being an attorney. I wanted to be an attorney, And then I realized that I really didn't want to be an attorney because it seemed boring. The more I read, the more it didn't seem fun to me. Then I had a friend of mine that was an attorney, hated it, absolutely hated it. So I didn't want to go down that road. So I joined the Army. I did the military thing. I thought I'd do a career there. But after like 8 years, I said, nah. So you know what? That's not for me either. I did my time, had a great time doing it. Very proud to serve my country. But after that, I wanted to do something else. Constant change, something being new. I wish I could be as focused as some people, or as they went down and followed their dream and became whatever they wanted. I wish I could do that. But the bottom line is I never really been that focused on anything. Even when I went to college, my wife and my son, because I went to college and I took, I loved my psychology classes, my philosophy, my English, my history, but all I took was the classes that I was interested in. I didn't take the classes that were required because they wanted me to take classes that were math. You got to have algebra. You got to have that. I'm like, nah, I don't like those. And they're like, well, you have to. If you don't take these classes, you can't get a degree. You got to have these things. I just never had the focus to do that. And actually, I just took what I wanted to. What's that? Have you ever seen any fights in your prison? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Every day, every other day, there are knockdown, drag out, bloody fights every day. Something that goes on, either with shanks or just bare knuckle brawls. And all the officers have this CS gas. They have these canisters that if these inmates, they'll kind of like step back and they'll yell at them. They'll say, break it up. And if they just keep fighting, they just pull out these cans and they go, and this huge cloud of like CS gas puts these guys in tears and just like drops them to the ground, and they're just snot coming out. They're like they're crying, and they just slap the cuffs on them. They take them down to segregation and put them into seg. But you see a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff goes on. But especially now, I would say after this hurricane, we just had a hurricane, and these guys have come back. It's not like it used to be. It used to be where you always had somebody get beat up in the bathroom or something going. Now lately, since they've come back, they've started coming back first week or so of January, and so from then till today, very little fights have happened. And what happened, just to give you a little synopsis of what it's like at the prison where I work, they actually called our prison, in the whole state of Georgia, we are called Camp Cupcake. It's not, that's just what they call it. It's not the name of the facility, but that's what everybody calls it because it is one of the, you would not believe these guys are in prison. I swear to you, I'm not making it up. If you went in, they get 3 square meals a day. They eat better than the people on the street today. You got to have chicken one day, hamburgers, hot dogs the next day. They eat better than 3 squares, hot meals. They get bed, they get movies. They watch the latest movies, the latest sporting events. They've got a band. They got brand new synthesizers, drum sets, guitars. So they have their own band going. It's unbelievable that this is a prison. Honestly, you'd never believe it. If you walked in, they're like, oh yeah, over here this is the horticulture where they can learn horticulture and everything. Oh, over here's a dog program with Auburn College where they learn how to be dog handlers and everything. Oh, over here is the welding class. They learn welding over here. This is where they can get their GED. Oh, this is a computer technology class where they can learn their A+ certification, their N+ certification, their IC3, You're like, wow. Yeah, it is definitely unbelievable there. Can you help me with my math homework? And I'm not kidding at all. You have to understand, if I really, truly knew anything beyond adding, subtraction, division, multiplication, some fractions, I'd help you. But when I see, when I went to college and they wanted me to take algebra and calculus and I said no. I said I'm not taking them. I'm never going to use them in my job. Now, being a business owner and entrepreneur, and I have probably learned, and that's not even true. I know I've used algebra. I know that what I've done in my life has relied on geometry and these things, but I didn't learn it in school, I learned it in the real world. So it was a much different way of learning. In school, you're learning the way they want to teach you. In real life, you're learning the way you need to learn to do the job. So, oh yeah, I could do 7th grade. But if it's 8th grade, I don't know. 7th grade, I could probably do. 8th grade, I don't know. But anyway, in the real world, the math I've learned is because of the businesses I've owned and things of that nature. Now, I did take a philosophy class, so as you get into college, and I took a class called Logic. Now, logic was very much formulas. It was using like De Morgan's theorem to prove or disprove statements. I mean, it was it was a lot harder. I mean, I got an A in the class, but boy, I'll tell you what, it makes me want to go back and say I should have taken those classes and I should have paid more attention in class. But I really, truly, in school, when I was going in school, was nothing like today. When I was in school, I mean, I think my senior year I attended half of the time. I was more interested in girls and going out and getting in trouble than I was really doing what I was supposed to be doing. So I paid for that in the long run, but it took me a whole summer school to see that I should probably have been doing things a little different. So that was the last time that happened. But yeah, it's just the folks that even the people that are, matter of fact, most of the people that are in prison right now, that are in my prison anyway, most of them didn't have a GED. They totally had dropped out of school, didn't get a high school diploma, and most of them ended up in prison. Well, now they're in prison. We're sending them through to go through their adult basic education 1, 2, 3, and then they're going to learn their GED, get their GED and stuff. So it's really kind of funny in a way, but not, it's sad but funny that they had to come to prison to finish high school. Yeah, definitely. The intersection of two sides of an angle is called angles of blank. I'll buy that. That sounds good. That sounds good. I'll buy that. Whatever you say, I'm going to say you're right. Why? Because I'm just not into geometry. And it sounds like that's what geometry is. But yeah, I really, truly think that a lot of the time we make things a lot harder on ourselves than they have to be. I mean, if you've got like, you're in school, so you figure, what do you got, about another 3-4 years left? About 5 years? 5 years left maybe? And hopefully you're catching on to this stuff, because I'll tell you, even though a lot of folks like to tell you you're not going to use it or you won't need it, you'll end up using it. Somewhere down the line, even if you're a chef or a cook, you end up using fractions and all the things that you don't think you need. So anyway, guys, I just think that it's been really a lot of fun to going back to what I was saying. It's been fun kind of doing the stream and learning a lot about how this works and have crap, laughing out loud. What's the matter? But it's been, this is actually a lot of this is kind of why I like to do this. It is fun for me to be able to at least speak with intelligent people and kind of joke around and have a couple laughs and not have to worry about it. And I think that's probably one of the things that makes the internet what it is it's a lot easier to interact with people anonymously. When you can hide behind a user ID or a name, it's a lot easier to really talk and kind of communicate with people, because you're not being, a lot of times people feel that they're being judged every time. I think that that's true for a lot of people. They feel that, when I go to work, I feel that I'm being judged by everybody at work, by what I say, what I do. Homework. Yeah, I don't want to do any homework. I actually used to bring my work from work home to work on it. I don't even do that anymore. But I think that, we're kind of judged. We're judged at work. We're judged by our friends. So I try not to get involved in all that garbage. That's something that just isn't worth it for me. I've had people, like, even when I was in school, everybody's trying their best when they're in school to figure out where they fit. And, I'm going to tell you what, I didn't fit anywhere. And when I was in school, I was kind of had my own category. But that was all right. But I will tell you guys, it's been a lot of fun doing the streams. I mean, I've had a blast doing these, and I'm glad. And if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't followed me, please do it. I mean, that helps me out a lot with Twitch. I definitely appreciate it, because Twitch and Mixer and even YouTube, they all have these requirements of well, you got to have this many subscribers before we unlock this or before you can do that. So I try, I'm being new, I'm still trying to find out how this stream fits. I wish I was a gamer, guys. I mean, I wish I could get on there and do these games, but I don't have the tolerance or patience for them, because I really do. I want to be the best at anything I do, and when I can't beat, when I can't beat a guy that's 13 years old or 14 years old that's been playing these games since he was a fetus, and I get on there and I try to to be the best at what I'm doing, and I can't even take 2 steps without getting shot down or without getting killed, man, it just that blood pressure gets up, and you're like, ugh, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I'll maybe every now and then I'll try find a game that I like. And I could probably do the retro games, they call them. Those were more my speed when I Galaga, Pac-Man. Those are the type of games that I would do when I was younger. But now I'm older, they call them retro games. I guess everything changes. So I'm okay with that, though. Anyway, so hopefully, what was I going to say? Hopefully this will be one of those, streams that I'll rely on your feedback, you guys. Just tell me kind of any suggestions. Send me an email. Be happy to chat. Just go ahead and, let me know what's on your mind, because I definitely want to make it a fun stream, a good stream for everyone. So being new, I don't know yet what to expect. I don't know who's going to come on and what you want to, the idea of what we talk about is something that I kind of let the stream decide. Because I tried coming on earlier and picking topics and doing things that I wanted to do, but then I found out, it's not all about me. It's about everybody that's kind of watching what they want to talk about. So I actually have been designing a radical 3D one. Thanks, man. I'm going to tell you what, every time that happens, that scares the living daylights out of me, because I got these alerts set up. Every time somebody follows me, it's like shocking, because it'll give you this alert, man. I'm like, doom, 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 doom. Oh, man. Tell us about your favorite anime. Oh, man. The stuff that's out there today was not like it was when I was a kid. I mean, the stuff out there today is way more, how can I put it? I'm trying to be politically correct. The stuff that's out there today is way more. What's a good word? Vivid. Maybe it's way more graphic. Maybe that's a good word. The stuff that's out there today is way different than when I was growing up, and they had. I mean, back in the day, the whole thing that they had when it was like in my day. You have to remember, man. I'm back from when they had the cartoons of Speed Racer and all these were like the quote unquote what you guys call anime today, but you have Pokemon and you have all these different. Today they're way more graphic. I mean, I've seen things that I've had to go back and watch. Wait a minute, what did they just say? What did they just do? And I was like, what? And so I'm constantly surprised by what's out there. So I haven't really. I mean, I'm still a huge movie buff. I mean, I love movies. I like I told you guys earlier, I went and did the Aquaman. I saw Aquaman, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Looking forward to Toy Story. I'm juvenile, childish. What can I say? But I just love movies. I'll go and I'll watch movies all day. Sometimes I'll go on a Saturday and watch 2 or 3 of the new releases. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of the anime, I haven't been able to sit down and really find any of the ones that I enjoy. I mean, anything that really. And I guess maybe it's because I like a storyline. I like something that from, it's kind of like years ago, I liked just episodes where it was like a beginning, a middle, and end, and I liked an episode, and that was kind of what I would watch. But now it's like I really want a storyline. I want a full storyline of something that's entertaining, and I have not. I've watched a couple of different animes. I just haven't. Man, I haven't found anything that really rings true with what I enjoy. So, just. I mean, what do you like? Is there something that you, if I was to say to you, look, I'm going to go and I'm going to pick one to watch. I'm not going to go. There's probably 1,000, but I'm going to pick one, and I want to start. Is there any one that you would recommend that I just try and just see if I like it? Just say, watch the first 3 episodes. That is the easiest question to answer in the world. That is the easiest question. Please humor me. Answer that question. Just watch Akira. Akira. All right, I am going to. Okay, all right. I will look. Released in 1989. Now, is that a single movie, or is that like a series of episodes? Or did it start in 89? It's still going today? Single movie. Okay, yeah, I like movies. Yeah. Okay. But I still, don't get me wrong, I would still like a series, or like if they, as I said, they had Pokemon that had episodes, but I would much rather follow something that had a storyline. But I definitely will try that one. 89, released in 1989? See, now that's kind of in my wheelhouse of, I'm trying to think, what, maybe I didn't, I probably didn't see that one. I'll have to go take a look at it, because, back then in the day, I was still a huge movie buff back then, and I would go see like anything. 89, let me see. Oh no, you know what? Yeah, watching Thundercats. Okay, yeah, you know what? I was actually, 89 was, I was just getting out of the Army, I think. And in 89, I was just getting out of the military. So I probably had missed it when it came out. So I would actually say, yeah, it was probably one I missed. But I'll check it out. I'm sure it's online. It's either on Amazon Prime, or it's on one of these stations that I go, one of these actual websites I go to. I can watch pretty much anything. So it's out there. So that's cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. I do enjoy, just anything that's kind of separates me from reality for an hour. That's kind of why I was hoping this Aquaman would be better than it was. It was okay, but it wasn't as entertaining as I had hoped. I don't know if you've ever seen Deadpool, the original, the first one, Deadpool. Then the sequel was better. It was okay, but it wasn't as good. But I kind of like, when I go to see a movie, I want to be entertained and kind of taken out of that moment. So, I still love to go see, Class B movies, or I guess they would be called B movies. But I'll pretty much go watch anything once, twice if I like it, or some cases. Are you not entertained? Okay. That was from, Don't Tell Me, that was from, with Russell Crowe, Gladiator. See that? Have no idea. Vast abyss of worthless knowledge. Yep, told you. Yep. So that's when he was in the arena, and he off that guy really quick. Yeah. So but yeah, I've been like I said, I had probably over 1,000. I think I do have over 1,000 DVDs. There's just, of course, my movie tastes are different. Like, I was not into, at first I was not into Quentin Tarantino. I had watched Pulp Fiction. It was the first time I'd seen anything by Quentin Tarantino, and I watched it, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. So my brother says, watch it again. So I watched it the second time, and then I was like, oh, I get it. Yeah, I know. That's why I said I'm not into Quentin Tarantino, but after I watched it the second time, it really did make sense to me. I started putting it all together, because what I didn't like is how Quentin Tarantino, he jumps. The timeline kind of jumps, and the cuts are very clean, but they're different points in time, and it seemed out of order to me. But after I watched it the second time, and I said, okay, that's his style of shooting. That's what makes him Quentin Tarantino. It's different than what's out there. So once I saw, and I was like, okay, now. But I watched it, and I was like, okay. They kept opening the case, and it was just like this glow of gold, And I was like, It's called editing, bro. Yeah, you got it. And it's actually he's really a master at it. I love the way he does it now. After I've saw that and I actually come to terms with, okay, this is cool. Then all of a sudden it was like Kill Bill 1, 2, 3, Reservoir Dogs. All of a sudden I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I really got into it. But when I first saw it, I had to watch it twice. And then I realized, okay, what's in the briefcase is really, it's not gold, it's the soul. It was the soul of Marcellus Wallace. And I kind of was like, okay, so the Band-Aid in the back of Marcellus Wallace's head, that's where the devil basically snatched his soul out. And what he did is Marcellus hired these guys to go get his soul back from the devil. I started putting it all together. But I mean, and then I was explaining to my brother, this is kind of what I was explaining. Okay, it's the soul. His soul is in the box, and this and that. And my brother's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I was like, "No, it was his soul. Marcellus had a Band-Aid on the back of his neck, and that's where the devil snatches your soul from, is the back of your neck." And and my brother's like, "I thought it was gold or something," and I was like, "Well, no," I said, "it was his soul." I said, "That's why when Vincent, when he lifted it up and he was so mesmerized by it, I says it was the soul of Marcellus Wallace." And my brother was like, "Yeah, you can't watch Quentin Tarantino anymore." And I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, he was telling me, "No, you can't watch it." So, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was a yellow light bulb, but I mean, in the movie, I started thinking it through of what could that be, and then I was picking up on these little things. And I have no idea if what I think is actually correct. I mean, I might be way off base. Quentin Tarantino might go, "No, it's a gold bar." I mean, he might say it was whatever, but I just figured it would be something neat, Yeah, that's why I loved it. I mean, I've actually watched it. Every time it's on, I watch it. I really enjoy it. Now that I actually I understand how he does his cuts, how he does his editing, I really enjoy it. That's why Kill Bills were great. I loved Reservoir Dogs. I've really kind of embraced the Quentin Tarantino style now because it's not like all the other ones that I've seen. And that, there's certain movies that you watch and you're like, you know what? This doesn't fall in the same... it is. It's completely different. And that's what I liked about it. There's movies I've seen that just don't... Like, have you ever seen... it was called... I think it was called No Country for Old Men. I think that was the name of it. Where it was I watched it and it was really great. It was a great movie, but when it ended, it's like the bad guy got away. Yeah, with the Pirate of the Caribbean. Yeah, and it was just I couldn't really. I was like, wait a minute, he's the bad guy. He just killed these people. He's getting away. But then that's actually what made it an awesome movie. I was just like, wow. It wasn't, the good guy's victorious in the end. I mean, it was really that the bad guy was a bad guy that got away. And I kind of liked that movie. I was kind of surprised by it. I love a surprise ending or something like that. Yeah, good guys win equals more, because you see that all the time. Every movie I go see, you expect it. Even in Aquaman, how many times have you watched a movie and you absolutely know beyond a doubt what the next line is going to be? Bad good guy win equal boring. Good guys win boring. Bad good guys win equals boring. So yeah, I mean it's the same thing. I mean they're just so predictable. And that was like, there's been very few movies that I've seen that really, like The Matrix, the very first Matrix, the very first one with Keanu Reeves, I liked. I thought, wow, it was different. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Like the John Wicks he's done. John Wick's 1, John Wick 1 was, I loved it. John Wick 2, I was like, wow, it was actually really good too. And now I've just watched, over the last couple of days, I've watched the John Wick 3, the trailers for the third one. They look awesome. I mean, there's certain movies that, are original, that they're actually entertaining, but other ones are kind of like repeats of, you'll see they take a little bit of this film, a little bit of that film, a little bit of this one. Unlimited Camp 100. Thanks for the follow, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. So, but yeah, a lot of the movies that I see out there, I I can't stomach the ones that they do that are just like they steal a piece of this movie and a piece of that movie and they put it together and say, oh, this is an original movie. And you go pay your $12 or whatever it is. I think I paid $13. And you sit through the movie and you're like, why did I just waste my money on this thing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And matter of fact, I $6.50 for a large Coke. What did I pay? I paid $12.50 for the ticket, $6.50 for a large Diet Coke, and the bucket of popcorn, which I bought. I paid for like a father and his family, but the bucket of popcorn was $8 and almost $9 for a bucket of popcorn for a movie. And that's why most of them now I'll watch them on my television. I'll actually wait for them unless it's really something I feel that needs to be seen on the big screen. Like that's why I went and seen Aquaman. I thought, oh, it'll be great on the big screen. I'll go see Aquaman. And I get there and I was like, it wasn't. It was all CGI. I mean, it wasn't even good. It wasn't even like Avatar CGI. It was just like they're underwater and they're talking just like you and I would talk. So you're like, okay. So I have to suspend the belief that underwater they're not using telepathy or anything. They're talking just like you and I would talk in the air. So there was a lot of things that it just and it took so long to build up who Aquaman was. Oh, he was his father was a lighthouse keeper. His mother was the queen of the sea. But it took so long to build to that. Everyone's like going, is this somebody going to get killed? Is there a fight? Something going on? I mean, you're just waiting for some kind of action. And then when it finally happens, you're like, well, this really, you could tell, like, all the outfits that were on these people, what they were a bunch of guys in green tights with those little digital sensors all over them. They were all CGI stuff. And I was like, I didn't care for it. It did. It ended. Yeah. Okay, there's this huge fight. But did you see Aquaman? Did you notice that all the sharks that people were riding these sharks? They all looked like the sharks of Finding Nemo with the big smile. And I'm going, this is really pathetic. Oh yeah, you're exactly right. They do. There was this big battle of underwater battle but all these people are like riding sharks and riding these giant seahorses, and the sharks had this big. They looked like the Finding Nemo shark, Well, hang on a sec. I once again. It happens if my background, the chroma key, I have to keep it lit a certain way, I guess. So anyway, it was pretty. I mean, it was a kind of disappointing movie, but it's kind of. It did remove me from reality. I kind of, it was okay. I mean, like I said, I give it probably a 7.5, maybe a low 8 out of 10. But yeah, I try to be much more careful when I go to see a movie. If I'm going to spend that kind of money to go see it, you can bet I want to make sure I'm seeing something that I'm going to walk away from. Like when I saw Deadpool, I really wasn't. I didn't know anything about Deadpool. I didn't know the character. Never read the comic book. Even though when I was younger, I read tons of comics, I just never read Deadpool. And when I went to see it, I didn't know what to expect. And awesome. I mean, it was funny. It was more adult-oriented, but I enjoyed the heck out of the movie. And I must have already seen it 12 times already. I mean, it's because it's rated R. Yeah, it could. Is Deadpool rated R? I didn't even know that. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, you're right. It was just much more. Yeah, see, I didn't even think about it. When I went and seen it, I just bought the ticket and I didn't know what to expect, and I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised that it was and I know Ryan Reynolds was the one who really pushed that to happen. PG-13, you can't kill people, you can only destroy them. Oh, see, you learn something new every day. PG-13, you can't kill people. No, there's gotta be. I see now. I'm gonna have to go back and watch because I thought you could kill people in PG-13. I think you can kill aliens, isn't it? Like for example, Independence Day. Now Independence Day came out. They were killing aliens. And that was PG-13. That wasn't NC-17 or R. Independence Day was a PG-13. And they were killing aliens, and the guy shot the one through the glass with his pistol. So I think it's okay to kill aliens. But I don't think you can kill real people. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the loophole. Yeah. It's the rules. I believe it. Yeah, Hollywood. It's changed too. It's funny because I see it that they say, oh, it took $200 million to make this movie. And and I know that's an outright lie. When you have a movie that's mostly CGI, that's created by a handful of guys using old... Matter of fact, if you ever seen The Bourne Identity, I actually had about a week or two ago, I had The Bourne Identity. I'd actually stopped it on certain... because I noticed that one of the car chases reminded me of another car chase in another movie I had seen. So I actually got both movies out, and I found out not only are they reusing explosions, they're reusing explosions from old movies that they've already done. They're also using car chases. The same car chases are being reused. And I'm like, so all they're doing, they're not even $200 million. That doesn't cost that to make these movies anymore. But that's what they want to report to the IRS. Oh, it was a $200 million movie. No, that's why when it makes $1 billion in the box office, they can take the first 200 million as a loss. What a joke. So I mean, when you look at how they're making movies today, it used to be like when Star Wars was originally done. Star Wars was actually, it was movie sets and on location stuff and all. Now, just like here, I can throw up a green screen and I can make it be whatever I want. That's kind of what they do now. They don't even do the. It's like, okay, well, I have a. Here we go. Ready? Let me go like this. Well, I'm not really in my bedroom. I'm really on the starship. And we're going to go out and we're going to go and kill these aliens. I mean, today, with the way they use these graphics and everything, yeah, are you in a snow cabin? No, I'm actually on a spaceship. I'm actually on a spaceship, and we're traveling through the galaxy. That's what I want you to believe, But here, as a matter of fact, here's a better one. This is the one I used earlier. Here, let me see.
Well, seeing how it was the maid's day off, I just thought I'd come home and I'm gonna make me some biscuits and mustard. We gonna have some biscuits. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't really think that they're really spending millions of dollars on anything. So it's like I say, once I spend $1 million, I try to do what I can with my money. I don't want to spend it frivolously. I buy the finer things in life, Yeah. Come on, give me a break. So, let me go. I'm going to go back to my. I'll go back to my office. There we go. I'll just sit in my office and enjoy the view while I'm sitting here in Vegas. Yeah, I've been here all week just, playing at the tables in my penthouse. Yeah. Well, even with marketing and advertising, think about it. Think about what it is today. What is most of the marketing and advertising you see out there? It's on the internet. I mean, I don't hear television, or I don't hear radio commercials about movies anymore. Very rarely do I hear any. If I can't even think of the last radio commercial I've heard. I can't think of the last television. It's all online now because this is where everybody is. But even on television, you don't see them that often. It's just you'll see them on online streaming because you've got. Think about this. You go to any website, CNN. It doesn't matter what website you go to. You've got pop-up advertising. You've got banner advertising. You've got display advertising that's there. You've got what do you want to call it? The side live tile advertising. You've got what are they called? They're actually the fake advertisements. Clickbait. You've got clickbait. You send an email, receive an email. You've got advertising, and none of that stuff is expensive at all. We're talking pennies. So for them, they can go ahead and take, if they were going to do a $50 million ad campaign, they can put that all into social media advertising and marketing, do some cute viral videos. How many times did you see viral videos on half of the movies that are out there? They'll put and they make millions of people. So best parent 95082. Hey man, thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. Thank you. So that's kind of what I look at that, and I'm thinking, if you're going to spend millions of dollars on advertising, are you going to go ahead and put it into the radio or television where most people today don't even watch? No, you're going to go and you're going to put it on you're going to go to Amazon. You're going to go put it on Amazon Prime. Let them put it in their different, because Amazon now has made, movies that are only on Amazon. Netflix has movies that are only, series that are only on Netflix. That's where your best bang for your buck is. You're not going to reach the American public on the radio anymore. You're not going to watch they're not watching television. They're watching live streams usually. So that's, to me, it's kind of where I think if I'm going to put my money into anything, it's going to be there. And that's what these movies, they're saving a ton of money using recycled graphics, recycled CGI. So that $200 million movie might, after they pay their, stars, whatever they're going to pay them, they might be in it for maybe 50, 60 million, maybe 100 million, but nowhere near 200 million. Well, that's what they're going to claim with the government. Oh, we take our first 200 million loss on $1 billion box office blockbuster, but it's not costing them that. But I mean, if the movie's good, I don't like when what was the one with the big ship, Titanic? James Cameron, the guy that did Avatar, did Titanic. And they said it was matter of fact, at the time, it was the most expensive movie ever done. $200 million, and they thought it was going to be the biggest flop of any movie in the history of movies. They said this is going to be such a bomb. But it wasn't. It ended up being the #1 most grossing picture, $1 billion easily it's made already since it was put out. And that's not including all the other stuff. Yeah, and it was hilarious. It was funny. I mean, what I have to be the first one to admit, when my daughter begged me to take her to see this thing, the CGI was really, and did you know they built an actual ship that was like 3/4 the size of like the real Titanic? Their actual ship that they used was a huge replica of that ship, but it was, that's where most of the money went. It was all, it wasn't all CGI. There was a good part of it was CGI, which, like you said, back in 98 or whenever it came out, was still great for that time period. But my daughter begged me to take her to see this movie, and I said, honey, why do you want to go? You know how it ends. It hits an iceberg and sinks. Why do you want to go see this? It's going to be the worst movie. And she says, no, Dad, everybody's going to see it. You got to take me to see it. So I did. I took her to see it, and I sat down next to her, and I said, look, I says, if I start snoring, just nudge me or whatever, wake me up. I says, and just enjoy your movie. And I kind of sat down, and then all of a sudden when Bill Paxton came on with the old lady, and the movie started, I kind of caught myself opening an eye, kind of looking at it, and then I kind of sit up a little bit more, and then when the movie started and it actually came, and we saw it, I think it was an IMAX or huge theater. It was really a spectacular. The graphics, everything was really cool, and I did enjoy the story. I hate to say that because it was truly a chick flick, but I got to see her naked. So, I mean, there was a plus and minus for me. Sometimes you got to be accommodating, but it was actually a pretty decent movie. I will say that. I have a different way of categorizing movies I see. So, yeah, the story is trash. Well, you know what? She let Leo die. Yeah, you would think there was enough room on the damn door she was on. She could have said, here, come on up here with me. No, yeah, I agree. She let Leo die, man. Yeah, I will say that was probably, you got to look at that and go, wait, pull him up on the damn door with you. Your ass can fit on there with him. So I guess that is kind of funny. But for the love of God, woman. I know. Like, look, just move over. He doesn't have to die, Oh, God, that's too funny. Yeah, it was, just came back already laughing. Yeah, it was, But you watch some of those movies and you're just sometimes how many times you've heard the comedians talk about like the horror movies where they go down there, like they hear a noise in the basement, and I heard one comedian says they open the door and they look, they see a handgun, they see a knife and everything, and they grab the flashlight, So I guess it's just common sense that you got to do. Some of the movies I'll never under. Have you ever seen a movie called Scream, the very first one with Drew Barrymore? I had seen that, and I was all geeked because I like Drew Barrymore, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be an awesome movie, and they like killed her. They killed her like in the first opening couple movies, and I was like, man, this is gonna be, and it was like one of the best movies I had seen. I was like, man. Yes, that was good. Oh no, I won't, man. I'm telling you, it was one of my favorite movies. From the very beginning, when they killed off, really what was like, you think, oh my God, this is Drew Barrymore. She's going to be the main fixture in the whole movie. And they offed her. I was like, oh yeah, this is, see you in the morning, gotta drive, gotta go. All right, man, I'll see you in the morning drive. Like I said, I do it every morning, 6:15. I'll see you there. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah, it was a great movie. I mean, I really enjoyed this. That was one of those few movies where I went, man, they offed her in the first couple minutes, and it just got better. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to horror flicks, because I come back from the day back when there was Halloween 1, Friday the 13th, the Nightmare on Elm Street. The Amityville Horror, Damien, The Omen, The Exorcist, all of these movies back in my day, they really did an excellent job of being a scary movie without all the gore. I mean, they had some blood in it, but it wasn't like today they're trying to go for the shock value. And for me, that's just not it. I mean, that doesn't gross me out. I've seen intestines, I've seen disemboweled people. I mean, it doesn't. The shock value for me is not there. It's the suggestive. But you remember that Nightmare on Elm Street when that was not like some of these other ones today where they feel that they have to show you this stuff that's happening. And that to me is kind of like some of the most terrifying moments in these movies. Like, have you ever seen Jaws? Have you ever seen Jaws? That movie was one of those movies where it was like, you were terrified. Just hearing that music, that sound, you knew something was getting ready to happen. You knew that shark was somewhere, something was going on, and that was kind of terrifying when you watch that movie. You watch Jaws, and the little kids playing by the boat and everything in the water, and you're just like, oh my God, no, not the kids. You start getting all, but you knew because it was that terrifying. It was the suggestiveness. And that's kind of what made a lot of those things really entertaining for being horror flicks, Oh, it's because Spielberg, yeah, he was the master. He didn't have to show you blood and guts and all. It was that suggestive nature of something's coming, something evil is pending. And that to me is what makes a great movie. Don't show me the blood and guts or everything. Do something that I don't expect. Be like even the old Psycho back in Alfred Hitchcock. They didn't. They might show you where he's doing the motion, but they don't show it where it's going into her flesh and everything. It was just all the blood down the drain type thing. It was still. It was those were horror movies. Today I've went and seen like the Saws. Now there's some movies I haven't seen yet that people have said are really good. I think they're saying The Conjuring, and there's some folks have said there's some really good ones out there that have gotten away from the gore, but still, oh God, okay, M. Night Shyamalan, don't even, matter of fact, I'm going to ban you. Don't even use his name in my presence. I'll ban you from this. I can't even, that man, let me tell you, I did see, remember the movie he did that he got all this, it was called, oh God, what was it called? It was the one with Bruce Willis, where the little kid, Haley Joel Osment, whenever I see dead people, whatever the name, yeah, I see dead people. What was the name of the movie? It was called The Sixth Sense. The Sixth Sense. No, it wasn't called I See Dead People. It was called The Sixth Sense. And I saw that and I actually enjoyed it. I was like, wow, you know what? That was a pretty, because I didn't see it coming. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know Bruce Willis was dead. I mean, the whole thing, I actually had to go back and go, no, wait, man. He was talking to the chick, the kid's mother. He was talking to her in the living room. And I was like, wait a minute. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Let me tell you what, if they haven't seen it by now, chances are nobody's going to see it anyway. But it was a great movie, and that was one of those. So I thought, oh, this Shyamalan guy, this is really M. Night Shyamalan or whatever his name is, Shyamalan Ding Dong. But I thought, yeah, these are gonna be great movies. Well, then I went and I paid money to go see this one with the tinfoil on the head, Signs. I think it was called Signs, and I paid my hard-earned dollars to go see this movie. And it was so bad. I mean, I literally, and I'm not making this up, I went to the movie theater, the manager, and I says, that was an exceedingly disgustingly bad movie. I want my money back. And he gave me a free ticket to the next, another show. It was bad. Did you see Split? No, I haven't seen Split. I haven't seen Split. I see the Village he did, which was terrible. I don't. Now here again, he's got one out right now. That's a good one, and I'm not falling for that. I'm not falling for it's a good one in his collection. Yeah, the Village was absolutely terrible. Matter of fact, he got sued. I guess he lost. He got sued over that because it was actually a book that some lady had written years before, and he made a movie out of it. And from my understanding, what I read, he got sued and lost that lawsuit. But Split is the sequel to Unbreakable. And Mr. Glass is in the third in the trilogy. Yeah, doesn't he got one right now? He has one called Glass. And it's got Bruce Willis. And yeah, I think that's the one I just saw the preview for. Now, here again, I feel like I'm being suckered in because they have a tendency to show you the best parts in the preview. He did not. That is a good series. He did not. The Village. That is a good series. He did not. The Village. I do know what you're trying to. He did not. The Village. That's the good series. He did not. Anyway, I just know that the trilogy, the one with Glass. Now, Unbreakable, I saw. That was the one with Bruce Willis. I did see that one. I think that's the one where he was in a train explosion. I think he was in the train explosion. He lived, and that's when so I saw that one. I didn't see Split. Okay, I'll watch Split. People, Split. I'll go ahead and I'll take a chance at it. Now I'm gonna tell you. Sequel. Now, was it any good? I mean, honestly, was it worth seeing, or is it another one that's just going to make me want my money back or my time back? Yeah, it's super long. Is it super long and good, or is it super long and sucky? I mean, because I just sat through Aquaman. It was probably almost 3 hours, and it was so. It's like all in one room, all in one room, no CGI. Wouldn't you get lost? The whole movie is, I don't know. I'll take a look. Like I said, I'll give it my litmus test. If you don't capture me within the first 15 to 20 minutes, I'm out of there usually. I mean, I'll stay. It's just like these series I watch today when I watch on television. I haven't really seen any kind of series that I really like. I like The Blacklist. I'll watch The Blacklist. I like The Big Bang Theory. There's certain ones I like, but I don't even like to start watching them until they're in like the 4th or 5th season, because every time I've started to watch a decent series, season 3 it's gone. Even though it might be a great series, they'll take it off after like 2 or 3 seasons, and I'm like, you know what, I'm so tired of committing my time and binge watching these shows to just find out after the third season they've been eliminated. But like The Blacklist, has actually been really good. I was surprised. House, used to Hugh Laurie, they did a series called House. Loved it. There's certain ones that I can get into it from the series wise. Movies, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take a look at Split. I don't know if I'm still undecided on if I'm going to go see Glass. They've showed the best parts during the previews, but I just don't know. I have no idea if I can stomach going to another one of his movies and having it be a disappointment. But they did show, it did look like there was some money behind it this time, and it doesn't look like he just did it on his lunch money. I mean, remember Signs with the what do they call it? The aluminum foil hats where these guys were going to come. Yeah, they show the best parts of the previews 100%. Yeah. So when I thought that one Signs was going to be a good one, but then you have to suspend this reality that this intelligent alien species capable of interstellar travel in spaceships to our particular world that is covered with what amounts to acid to them invades us. I just, I couldn't understand that, and so I will try to. I'll go ahead and take a look and see. I'll give Split 15, 20 minutes, see if it grabs me in the beginning. But if it's another one of his bombs, I definitely don't want to go see it. But I will go. Like I said, I try to see the ones that come out. Probably, and it's not rare. It's not unusual. On a Saturday, I'll go see. Like if Friday they release 3 good movies, I'll go see 3 good movies. It's the least bomby from his collection. Okay, well that's a vote of confidence for it. If I've ever heard one, oh man, it sucks so much less than the other ones. So what does that mean? Well, it's not as sucky. Okay. Help me out there. What does that mean? It does suck very little compared to the other. Okay, well that explains it. Oh yeah, dude, man, it sucks way less. So are you saying it doesn't suck? Oh no, I'm just saying, dude, it doesn't suck as much. Oh, all right, well, cool. I'm good with that. My nectar of the gods. Oh man. Yeah, take what you can get these days. I'm telling you, the movies have been really kind of disappointing. I mean, I'm hoping they get better. I mean, I don't even need the special effects, man. I just a decent story. I mean, a decent dialogue that's not predictable. I can't stand watching a movie and having them pull dialogue from like another movie that I've seen. I'm like, wait a minute, you're just, and of course somebody will say, oh, well, it's all been said before. Well, then you're not really trying. If you can't find any original dialogue when you do your movies, then don't do a movie, because I just all kind of runs together as the same garbage. But I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been times there's been movies that have been the dialogue. Do you know what? I'll tell you, like we were talking about comedies, we were on one of the streams before, and once you read the dictionary, other sentence is just a remix. You're right. Yeah. We were talking about comedies this a while back in one of the streams, and today it's like when you watch a comedy today, you've got about 10 minutes of screen time, and then you get a laugh or a couple laughs. Then you get about another 10 minutes and a couple laughs. Then you get 10 more minutes and a few, that's kind of how it is when you're watching these comedies. But I'll tell you, I remember, and I'm trying to think of the movie, and I watched it, and I've actually watched it a dozen times. The actor was Dudley Moore, Arthur. It was called Arthur. They did a remake. Russell Brand did a remake of it, which absolutely blew. It was terrible. But the original Arthur with Dudley Moore in it, it had John Gielgud as his butler, the straight man, had Liza Minnelli as like the romantic part. But the movie itself, the dialogue, you would get 10 laughs for every 1 minute. So it wasn't like 10 minutes, 1 laugh. It was like 10 laughs every minute. And it was a hilarious. The dialogue was fresh. It was crisp. It was funny, so But that's kind of what I want to see when I go see a movie. I want to see something that's fresh and funny, and or at least, as I said, a good story. I mean, even if the dialogue, yeah, it does, and I'm going to tell you, it probably did take a long time to write Arthur. It really probably did, but the movie was so great. And then when Russell Brand did it, and I like Russell Brand. I mean, I find him entertaining on a lot of different aspects, but the movie, it was just a bad remake. And so far I've not seen, like, Johnny Depp did a remake of Willy Wonka and the Child. How can you it's a classic. Nobody's going to be able to play Willy Wonka like Gene Wilder did. That was entertainment. And it's like every time they try to remake these, they actually remade I think it was the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger a while back that he did. It was called Total Recall. It's like they have no more originality. And what they started doing is now they call things reboots. Have you noticed that? Oh, it's a Spider-Man reboot. Oh, it's this reboot. Oh, it's a reboot of this. No, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. It's like, what do I care? I don't want to see remakes. And Robot Jaws. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I can't even react to that, because when I saw Spielberg, I'm assuming you're talking about reboot Jaws. I can't even imagine what that would be like. What they would do is they just make it all CGI. So to me, what was most terrifying about Jaws was, at least when they were shooting Jaws, it looked like a real shark even though it was all mechanical, and it was probably one of the worst mechanical jobs, but it was still awesome. And I just know that if they did a reboot of Jaws, it would all be CGI, and they'd all look like the Finding Nemo shark. Just like in Aquaman. Everybody looked like they were riding the giant shark from Finding Nemo. And I was like, yeah, this is not good. But, it is what it is. But it's what they do. They reboot this. Oh, let's do a reboot of this. They did another one with John Wayne movie. They did a reboot of an old John Wayne movie with they put Jeff Bridges in it, but it was actually pretty good. So I won't say anything bad about that, because Jeff Bridges kind of stayed true to the whole thing. Remember when they rebooted Lord of the Rings? Yeah, Lord of the Rings actually was animated. It was an animation. And I actually have it. I have both of them, the sequel too. I have all the original animations, and then they came out and they've done the new one, which was the real life version, I guess. And you say what you will, I actually kind of liked them. They were very dark, but I went and seen them in the theater, and I enjoyed all the Lord of the Rings. I wasn't, but it was funny because they were originally all animated with great musical soundtracks, and I actually went out and, because I am juvenile, childish, and immature, I had to buy the animated copies as well. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of, if you're going to take the old stuff and just try and remake it, and you don't have any originality or any original, like Alien. I'm waiting for the Alien reboot. If they have like the original with Sigourney Weaver, they'll end up doing a reboot of that. They'll end up doing all the ones that were successful. You'll end up seeing them. How many Rambos, or how many, what were the other ones that were big? There were Rambos. There was oh my God, the Rockies never end. I think, what are we up to? Rocky 27 or Creed 7 or 6? I mean, the Predator. Now the Predator I liked. That was the Schwarzenegger one that but I'm sure they've actually now got Alien vs. Predator, which I actually kind of like that one too. See, there's some ones I could tolerate. But it had Jesse the Body Ventura, it had Schwarzenegger in it. That was the original, and I think it had Carl Weathers in it too, didn't it? It had Apollo Creed in it as well. But did the Predator disembowel anyone? Actually, I think he did. I think he actually did. He skinned him. I think he skinned him alive and hung him from a tree, like you would do a deer. I think he did something like that. But that was a good. I enjoyed the Predator. but it was a good flick. But there's so many of the movies out there today, like I was saying, like the Rockies. They should have stopped at 3. Rocky 1, 2, and 3. That should have been the end of that whole thing. They shouldn't have went to Rocky 4 and 5, and then now Creed. The first Creed was good. I haven't seen the second one. People are telling me, oh, the second Creed is great. You got to go see the second Creed. I haven't seen it, but we'll see. I mean, it might be good. There's Star Wars. I agree, 100% agree with you. Star Wars 1, 2, and 3. That should have been it. Or what was it? Actually, it was like 4, 5, and 6 or whatever. But yeah, when they did The Empire Strikes Back and The Return of the Jedi, those should have been the last ones. Period. Because everyone after that was just a new degree of suckiness. And I mean, I was a diehard, believe me, when it first came out, I went and seen it in the theater like 5, 6 times. I loved the Star Wars series. And when Empire Strikes Back came out, it was even better. And I was like, oh my God, they're not going to be able to top this. And then Return of the Jedi came out and blew me away. I was like, oh my God, all 3 of them just got progressively better and better and better. And I was like, you know what? These are great movies. That's where they should have stopped, put out the box set, but all in the name of money, all in the name of capitalism, they wanted to do more. And then they had the one with Jar Jar Binks, oh, Misa, I'm so sorry, whatever. Oh my God, I couldn't. I just sat there and I actually paid. I bought into it just like everybody else. They were released at midnight. I was standing in line at midnight. I was one of the poor saps that went and seen them and just went, oh God, what did I do? I can't. I'm not even. I was like leaving, shielding my face so nobody would see me leaving the theater. I was so disappointed. And I was like, well, they just weren't as good as I thought they were going to be. And of course, they're all designed to tie into the next one. So you got to wait. It was just kind of like what they did with the Harry Potters. I don't even know how many Harry Potters I went and seen. Midnight. Oh, yeah, get in line at midnight. So there I am. Poor sap. I'm sitting in line, at midnight, waiting for this midnight show of Harry Potter. Then you got to go see Harry Potter 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, I mean, but I liked them. So I mean, for me, they weren't bad. Some movies weren't as bad as I thought. But I tell you, I was really disappointed with all the Star Wars since then. Even these new ones that they just had recently, Rogue, and so I wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it's because I know they're doing everything in CGI. There's no real sets anymore. So even the stuff that you're seeing is not an actual set. It's just green screens with, I don't know. It's not that taken by it anymore. So, but I think it'll end up getting better. They'll actually come up with better stuff. I know Hollywood's, if nothing, they're resilient. So they'll come up with some kind of a new franchise that'll, of course, be in their best interest for the $1 billion they want to spend. Oh, my Nectar of the Gods. My Mountain Dew. Gotta have it. So, Return of the Jedi, the best. Yeah, and I agree. I think out of all 3 of them, actually out of all of them, Return of the Jedi was the best. I absolutely agree with that. But what else have they rebooted? Didn't they reboot Superman? Hasn't Batman went through a bunch of reboots? Yeah. So I think I'm going to hold off and reserve my, I think I'm going to start reserving my dollars and kind of reading the reviews. I go to this site called, it's called Rotten Tomatoes, and they're usually pretty consistent with the way I perceive movies. I mean, but they kind of let me down with that Into the Spider-Verse, the animated one. They gave it like a 97, rating to be really great. And I went and seen it and went, all right, it was okay, but it wasn't all that fantastic. It was an animated, just an animated picture that I love Spider-Man, but it just was not all that I thought it was going to be. I was like, okay, well, this was a cartoon I could have watched on probably Saturday morning cartoons somewhere, and it would have been entertaining. But no, it was still a good story. Just not what I expected, I guess. So, but yeah, Star Wars. So, I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, this coming up. I've seen the new. They've got the new Mission Impossible. They've got another Mission Impossible, another Jack Reacher coming out. Tom Cruise, and he's one of those. Him and his Scientology, this Scientology thing. You walked out of Mission Impossible, yeah. I thought you know who Val Kilmer is, right? If you've ever seen a movie called Tombstone that had Kurt Russell and had what was the guy's name? Bill Paxton. It had Val Kilmer in it. For me, I'm not a big Western guy, but I loved that version of Tombstone. And Val Kilmer played a great Doc Holliday. So when Mission Impossible came out, and I thought, it's got Tom Cruise in it, and I went and seen it, and I was like, well, it was okay. But then when Val Kilmer came out, and I had seen him in Tombstone, and he was also in Top Gun with Tom Cruise. So I was like, well, he came out with one called The Saint, and I was like, oh, The Saint. I remember that's a good series back. People have said that's a great series. So I went and I seen The Saint. It was supposed to be his vehicle to compete with Mission Impossible. Terrible. I mean, absolutely. And I knew there would never be another one. I said they're not going to put him in another one because this one just had. Holy shit, that looks bad. What looks bad? Holy shit, that looks bad. It stopped at 3 hour. Oh, The Saint. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and it was terrible. And that's why, but I think that was his vehicle, his production company and his management decided, well, we're going to put you up against Tom Cruise, and we're gonna give you The Saint. He'll have Mission Impossible, and the American public will love you guys. And for whatever reason, The Saint was such a flop. I knew he would never do another one. And the Mission Impossible has kind of kept going. And, Mission Impossible 1, 2, 3, what are they up to now? 5, 9, I don't know. But they've done all these different Mission Impossibles. And I've watched them all. I've actually went and seen them. I wanted to see where they go with these and what. And you know what? I don't care. It just seems the same to me. It doesn't matter what the scenario or his acting is. Kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Sucky. His acting in the movies is kind of flat, and there's nothing there that makes it entertaining for me. It's literally the same movie, yeah, pretty much. And I don't want to see something that I look at Tom Cruise. I'm like, look, man, do something. Like I saw Rain Man. Back when he did Rain Man, and I actually enjoyed Rain Man. I actually liked Dustin Hoffman, but I enjoyed the movie. I was like, you know what? It's a great movie. And then I remember him, Tom Cruise, back when he did Risky Business, and I actually, got to remember now, I was younger, and, there was women. I liked Risky Business. I'll admit it. I thought Risky Business was actually entertaining for my age when I was there. But I did see Rain Man. I liked Rain Man. I even liked the one he did with Cuba Gooding Jr. And Renee Zellweger. Jerry Maguire. I mean, I liked Cuba Gooding Jr. and I thought it was a fun movie. But for some reason, the Mission Impossibles left me kind of going, it's kind of flat. It's the same every movie. It's the same thing, and it was kind of like there was no depth to his character. Now, I'll tell you, have you ever seen the ones that what's his name did? The Bourne Identities. Have you ever seen the one that Matt Damon did? These Bourne Identities. Now those were great. I mean, I liked them. I mean, I don't. Everybody has their own opinion, but I thought they were all great. Every single Bourne Identity, except for the ones he wasn't in, I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the way they cut the fight scenes together, the car, the car chases, and it had a great storyline and it had a great, dialogue. So I mean, those were some movies that I really enjoyed. But when I watched the Mission Impossibles, they were for Matt Damon is such a dreamboat. Stop it. I did see the one where he was the very first one that made them famous. Goodwill Hunting, I think it was called. Robin Williams was amazing in it. Do I think it deserved an Oscar? Because they got an Oscar for that movie. No, it was an okay movie. I mean, I liked it. It was good. You like apple? How you like them apples? I mean, it was funny and it was a good movie. But I just don't think it was like Oscar material. And I was like, well, to each their own. Everybody has their own opinion. I just was not a fan of it. And I mean, like I said, I liked the movie, but I didn't like the idea that they got that they got an Oscar for it. That was kind of one of those things where I was like, wow, are they just like passing those things out now? It's like, oh, you did a movie? Well, here you go, have an Oscar. You did a movie, have an Oscar. I didn't know if they were just passing them out because it just didn't seem. I think the reason they got the Oscar, honestly, I think it was because Robin Williams was in it. I think, and I think that's really. Well, they actually had they didn't pay for it out of their own pocket. They actually had investors that actually, put that together for them. I don't know if it was a movie production company, but Robin Williams signed on for next to nothing. That's kind of why I think there's probably a lot of these people know each other in Hollywood, and I think that even Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I think they had connections in Hollywood. So I never really got in too much into it, but you usually hear, like Adam Sandler. If you ever watch anything that Adam Sandler has ever done, you'll always see the same guys in it doesn't matter whether it's Happy Gilmore, whether it's Little Nicky, or you'll always see the same guys in there. And these are buddies that he's grown up with. These are guys that he is with his acoustic guitar. Yeah, he was the Hanukkah song. Put on your yarmulke, time for Hanukkah, smoke your marijuana. Yeah, he's a talented guy. But the thing is, some of his stuff. I mean, like I love. Like, if you ever saw Happy Gilmore, that was probably one of my favorite Adam Sandler was Happy Gilmore. I thought that was probably one of the best ones he's done. But then I seen some that he did, which was like he did one with Jack Nicholson, Anger Management, I think it was called. Was it Anger Management? Yeah. So there's been a lot of his movies that I've really liked, but he has the same people you'll see in them. He'll have like Rob Schneider, the guy. If you ever watch like The Waterboy, you can do it. These are like the guys he has grown up with that are all they like put each other. If one of them does a movie, they make sure there's a part for their buddy in there somewhere, and that's. That's cool actually, but I think that it goes to say a lot about the relationships that they have in Hollywood. They kind of all feed off of each other, the success of each other, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I like Adam Sandler. Some of his movies I didn't care for. There was one he did, Billy Madison, I think it was, where he had to go back to school. Didn't care for it. I mean. Maybe it was funny it was okay, but it wasn't that funny. It was like he was trying too hard. There's certain movies that are just funny because they're funny. Like if you ever watched Tommy Boy, okay, Tommy Boy that had what's his name, David Spade in it, along and it had what was his name, heavyset guy. But that was it was a funny movie. Farley, was it Chris Farley, I think? Yeah, Chris Farley and David Spade. So Tommy Boy was kind of funny. It had Bo Derek in it. I think it had oh God, who else? It had a lot of, but it was funny. So there's some of his movies I enjoy. And some of these movies that I see that you just kind of got to accept them for what they are. They're kind of ridiculous, but the actors in them actually make the movie what it is. So I gotta shave. Man, I'm telling you. So there's So anyway, that's kind of one of the things that I enjoyed about him. I mean, like I said, I loved Adam Sandler and some of his movies. Other ones, man, I just couldn't get into them. I tried, like even Little Nicky. I had to watch Little Nicky twice before I actually found. I was like, okay, you know what? It's stupid, but it is kind of funny. I mean, shoving the pineapple up, there was things in there that really was kind of funny. But it took me at least twice to watch it before I could appreciate it. I was like, all right, well, because a lot of his stuff just seems, that's how he's made his career. That's, he hasn't really done anything that I've seen. I'm not saying he hasn't, like he did Click, but he hasn't done anything that I've seen that's really been serious. I mean, and I'm sure he has. I just haven't seen it. So there's probably something he's done that's been a serious role for him. But a lot of these comedians will stray away from serious roles because especially if they're comedians. I mean, when I think of Jim Carrey, I loved him in Liar Liar. I mean, it was just like you couldn't have got a better person to play that character in Liar Liar. Jim Carrey was that character. Loved the movie, watched it many times, funny every time I watch it. But then he came out and he did another movie, I think it was called The Majestic or something, where he was like a injured war veteran or somebody with amnesia or whatever. And it was a more serious role. Man, I couldn't do it. Couldn't watch it. Couldn't do it at all. So, yeah, it was really weird. So some of those are, definitely worth watching. Other ones I couldn't stomach. I was like, he's just not, you're expecting comedy. You're expecting funny. And he just wasn't, And there's certain ones that I've seen, like, let me see. What's the other guy's name who he did Brothers? He did this movie called, I think it was called Step Brothers. Will Ferrell and I can't remember the other guy's name. But funny movie. Great movie. Loved it. Thought it was funny. Talladega Nights, not so much funny. Didn't care for it. I think that's the one with Ricky Bobby or something. I didn't care for it. Elf, thought it was hilarious. So I mean, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Some things are funny to me. Some things aren't. But when I saw Elf, it was funny. When I saw, the one he did, like I said, there's some that are funny. The Step Brothers was funny to me. Other ones just weren't. So anyway, oh man. Well, who just sent me an email? Oh, okay. Got a few of them there. All right. Well, anyway, guys, I was actually only gonna do like a half hour tonight. I've been going for 2.5 hours. But see, I love movies. I love this kind of stuff. That's kind of what I enjoy. So, if I had to choose a hobby and I couldn't play poker and I couldn't do poker tournaments, I would probably be a critic. I would probably go see movies just to do the reviews on them, whether they paid me or not, because there's so many movies that I see where they're kind of cheating and, making crappy movies and trying to get my $12 away from me, But I won't go there. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna, unless are there any movies we can think of that are actually halfway decent we want to talk about. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut it short tonight. Well, actually, I won't be cutting it short. It's went on for 2.5 hours. I was so surprised because time flies like that. I can't even tell you how quickly the time. I sat down. It was like 7 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock now. I'm like, what? Where did the time go? But it's cool. I love that. I love being able to have some great conversations and talk about cool stuff. And I appreciate you guys for sticking with me and engaging and kind of having some fun talk. I enjoy it. And hopefully, I'm hoping you guys will come back again and we'll do it. I'm here. You guys know I do the stream in the mornings. I do the 6:15 stream on my way into work. Unfortunately, I don't have a way to chat when I'm driving, so it's kind of just me talking out loud. Same thing on the afternoon drive when I come back home. That's around 3:30, and I'll do a little afternoon drive. And then I'll be back here again at 7, Monday through Friday. And if you followed me over the weekend, I don't usually do a Saturday stream. I don't usually do one, but I'm going to start doing one more or less to where I actually go out and I'm going to try and I bought a selfie stick. I'm going to use the selfie stick, and it kind of made me a little queasy walking and watching it, but I'll learn how to become more proficient using this thing. And I'm going to go ahead and we'll do some more random acts of kindness and do some cool stuff on the weekend and kind of make people smile, bring some smiles to people's face. And I'll take your suggestions that you guys email me, povamerica@outlook.com. I'll take your suggestions and I'll try and integrate them into some of the cool things I can maybe do on the weekends. So I will let you guys go this evening, and hopefully you have a great night. And I appreciate once again, appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. And I look forward to talking to you tomorrow night. If you're going to come back, we'll do it again and pick up some new topics or pick up movies again. Who knows? Once again, have a great night, guys, and I look forward to talking to you guys real soon. And I'll see you all tomorrow, man. We'll do it again. Take care.